The Accident Guys first. 877-888-GUYS.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
The Grant Napear Show.
My show begins at 3 o'clock, 104.7 FM, 890 AM. Download the Fox Sports KSAC app.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day. Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We start the show with the NBA playoffs. The Hawks 107, the Knicks 106. And boy, are they having a day on the New York radio airwaves, the New York tabloids. Mike Brown already under big-time heat in New York. And I said this on my rant this morning, and I've said it a couple of weeks ago. If the Knicks have an early exit in the playoffs, Mike Brown will not be the head coach of the Knicks next year. I'm just telling you. You watch, okay? There's a lot on the line here for the Knicks. And you can point to a lot of coaching mistakes last night. The fact that Mike Brown called the timeout under the 3-minute mark. If he had called the timeout 13 seconds earlier, he would have had a timeout at the end of the game, in which NBC completely dropped the ball. That was an awful job by NBC. They cannot get that wrong. I mean, the scoreboard had it correct. You know, they cannot get it wrong. All right? I talked last night after the game with arguably the number one statistician in America. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. He does games every night on the network level, NFL games. I've worked with him personally. The guy is the best. And so I called him last night, and I'm like, how on earth does that happen? And he said, it should never happen. He said, you've got the stats monitor in the truck, and then if the statistician is on top of it, he would alert the announcers that no, they don't have any timeouts left. And he said, if I'm unsure, what I would do is call the official over, okay, at a stoppage, just to clarify. He said that can't happen. And it was a terrible job by NBC. Terrible. Awful. Especially in this day and age of social media. The Knicks were so criticized at the end of the game because everyone thought they had a timeout, including people on their own pre- and post-game shows. And on the post-game show, Wally Zerbiak, who works for MSG, also thought that they had a timeout because he was watching the NBC feed from the studio or wherever he was, and he got it wrong. Okay? The NBC people got it right. They got it wrong. You can't get it wrong in that situation. That's a terrible job, awful job by NBC. It's as bad as it gets. Mike Brown's substitution at the beginning of the second quarter and at the beginning of the fourth quarter led to both Atlanta Hawks runs when he sits Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Brunson can't guard his shadow, and C.J. McCollum made him look bad. And I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? You can say anything you want about the Knicks and this year compared to last year. That's not happening if Tom Thibodeau is your coach. I'm just telling you that. Now, I'm not saying they would have won the game, but you wouldn't have these, I guess, glaring mistakes that were made last night by the Knicks. And I'm not taking anything away from the Hawks. We've talked about them being a tough matchup for the Knicks. This series should not be 1-1. It should be 2-0 New York. And now you've given the Hawks confidence. You've given them a lot of, again, confidence. I don't believe in momentum just because you're going back to Atlanta. The Knicks, to me, are still the better team, and they still should win this series. But C.J. McCollum, how many times have we seen him do that? I think he's all first-team Kings killer when I look at C.J. McCollum. I've watched him do that for years and years and years. The guy's a tremendous talent.
And Mike Brown killer.
And a Mike Brown killer. 107-106. The Hawks, again, beat the Knicks. So you've got two road teams winning last night. Minnesota, they win. And I've got to ask you a question, and I really mean this. You know, we always talk about bulletin board material, and sometimes players will say things, and you're left scratching your head. I was left with reaction after hearing what Jaden McDaniels had to say after the game.
Go out to Jokic, Jamal, all the bad defenders, Tim Hardaway, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, the whole team. Like, just go at them.
They're all bad defenders.
Yeah, they're all bad defenders.
So just to consider that, it feels like you guys caught some of that.
Yeah, just they don't got people that could defend the rim, and if he is there, we still more athletic than them, and just got to be able to finish when we do.
Unfreaking believable. I mean, I'm serious. There are some things that you just got to be smart about. We're talking about a team that's got NBA championship pedigree. We're talking about a team that has been there, has done that. And, like, what are you doing? I don't understand that. We'll talk more about that coming up in a couple of moments. So you've got series now that are tied up a game apiece. You've got a lot of controversy. What's going on in New York? I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about a big game? If the Atlanta Hawks go back and win game 3, oh my goodness. That game 4, woof, amazing. That would be incredible down in Atlanta, and the pressure on that Knicks organization. I still think this series is going to go deep. I think it's going to be up for grabs. But last night, that can't happen if you are the New York Knicks. Can't happen. So, again, Timberwolves win 119-114. Cavs are up 2-love on the Raptors. And we'll talk about the games coming up tonight. All right? Now, so we talked about this story last week in great detail as it related to Diana Rossini, who has since resigned from her position at The Athletic. And people were wondering what Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel would say at the camps that are going on, voluntary, involuntary, I don't even know what you call them anymore, as that is going on right now in New England. And Mike Vrabel did talk to the media today, and this is what he had to say.
You know, I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. You know, we believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction. You know, and those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and, you know, to ourselves. Care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know, and I'm excited to do that.
I've got a question. Why would you have to have difficult conversations with your family if you didn't do anything wrong? Which is what you told everyone 2 weeks ago. I mean, now all of a sudden you want to change the story? Why don't you just come out and admit what happened? Diana Rossini said she was with her friends hiking. Where are they at? We know exactly what happened. And both came out and vehemently denied the story. And Vrabel was adamant about that. Now he's got to have difficult conversations with his family. Why would you have difficult conversations with your family and everyone within the organization if you didn't do anything wrong? This is a joke. What a bad look for Mike Vrabel. What a bad look for the Patriots. And we've already talked about Diana Rossini, who will probably, her career has been destroyed, and she has no one to blame but herself. Now, could she get another job somewhere else? There are so many different places of employment, but in terms of her NFL credibility, that's gone. That's never coming back. I'm sorry, it's not. That's gone forever. So this is a story that hopefully is in the rearview mirror. But again, if you're Mike Vrabel and you had difficult conversations with your family, why? If you didn't do anything wrong, like you talked about, that this story was nonsense when it first broke on page 6, I guess a little more than 2 weeks ago. All right, baseball, the A's. Tell you, we keep talking about it's early in the season, right? But when you think about the first week of the season for the A's and how poorly they started when they lost all 3 in Toronto and lost 2 of 3 in Atlanta, came home for only 3 games against the Astros, had the walk-off on Sunday to send them with a win, okay? And then they sweep the Mets after winning 2 of 3 from the Yankees with great pitching, timely hitting, and they have been on a tear. And when I mean on a tear, you got to remember they were 1-5, okay? They were 1-5. They're now 12-11. They came from behind again. They have really, for whatever reason, the A's seem to give up runs in the first inning almost every time I look at the score. They did that last night. It was 2-0 going into the second, and the A's find ways to win. They win again against Seattle. The Mariners right now are 10-14, off to a slow start, and the A's are 12-11. Game 2 of that set coming up in a little bit. All right, so the Giants. All right, the weather is clearing. Should be no problem for the game tonight based on the weather forecast. The Dodgers, okay? We're up against Yamamoto, and you have a Dodgers team that is 16-6. The Giants begin this series 7 games out. They better not have a bad series here with the Dodgers. All right? They better not have a bad series here against the Dodgers, because not only are they 7 games out, they're 6 games back of the Padres already in the loss column as we sit here and talk on the 21st of April. Yeah, you just can't ignore that. You can't keep saying, well, it's early and it's early. Yeah, it's early until you're in such a big hole. And when you look at their lineup and you look at their pitching, which is not bad, but I mean, the point is you're not coming back from those type of deficits against a team the caliber of the Dodgers. Now, you can make the playoffs, as we all know, and not win the division. But when you look at some of the other teams in the National League, if you want to already in April try to forecast what you think may happen, with wild card teams, you're already in last place. Well, you're a half game out of last place thanks to the Rockies' loss yesterday. But you're not only 7 games behind the Dodgers, you're 6 games behind the Padres, and you're 4 games already behind the third place Arizona Diamondbacks. So you can say all you want that's April. You better fasten your seatbelts beginning tonight if you're a Giants fan. These are really, if you want to talk about big games in the month of April, these are big games for the San Francisco Giants in the month of April. That's just the reality of the situation. And when you look at how good the Central is this year and the starts that all the teams are off to, Cincinnati, 15-8, Pittsburgh, 13-9, St. Louis, 13-9, Chicago, 13-9, even Milwaukee, 12-9. You're playing the Dodgers. You got a lot of games coming up with them this year. We get that. Better not have a bad week here. 916-779-0929. So we've set the table for you. We've got the NBA. We've got the Knicks and their meltdown at MSG. There's nothing like a Knicks meltdown or a New York meltdown in that city with the various sports talk radio shows and the tabloids. I mean, the New York Post today was beautiful. Oh, my gosh. All of their outstanding columnists, their wall-to-wall coverage of the game. But I'm just telling you, as we sit here in April, in the first week of the NBA playoffs, if the Knicks have an early exit in the playoffs, look out. Here are your headlines in the Knicks today. Knicks' inexplicable Game 2 meltdown falls on 3 people and not Mikal Bridges. Knicks star turned into non-factor when needed most. Okay? Mike Vaccaro, phenomenal columnist. Headline, the Mike Brown timeout miscue, that was the real problem at the end of Knicks' debacle. Another headline, the Knicks superpower disappeared at the worst possible time, and now it's a series. Knicks coach stands by his sub decision, but it's one he may be forced to rethink. Knicks coach's odd decision sparked phantom timeout drama after broadcast error. Welcome to New York. Here's another one. Gag City. Knicks season-altering choke ends chance of easy series with the Hawks. Those are headlines you'll never see here in Sacramento, I can tell you that. That's for sure. We'll come back. We've set the table. Now it's your turn at 916-779-0929. But the red hot Ryan in Sacktown on fire with Prize Picks. Destroying it.
Yeah,
absolutely destroying it.
It's been a fun ride, and happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. If you're already on Prize Picks, you know what I'm talking about. There's a different promo going almost every day on America's #1 daily fantasy site. If you're following me there, Rhino in Sacktown, you saw that we hit a 6 player projection last night. You've got to come get in on the fun with me. It's super simple. You're not going against sharks. You're not going against other people. You're only going against the numbers. So if you understand basketball, baseball, golf, whatever it may be, 100 different sports to choose from, Prize Picks is the place for you. Choose 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and that's it. Let them win the night for you. Use the promo code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after you play your first $5 lineup. Follow me on there, Rhino in Sacktown. I'll follow you back. We can copy each other's lineups, communicate, have a good time, and just get it done. Tonight, we are going more than 19.5 points for Jaylen Brown. We're going more than 20 points for Jason Tatum and more than 1.5 made threes for Jason Tatum. So let's go get it. Again, download the Prize Picks app using the code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after your first $5 lineup. Pick, predict, cash, Prize Picks.
And with that said, we'll take the time out. Again, 916-779-0929. Grant Napear, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one, with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Are you one of the 7% of adults in the United States who are searching for an alternative to sleeping in a bed? Then let me introduce you to Z-Cliner, the revolutionary recliner designed by FlexSteel. The Z-Cliner, meticulously engineered with restful sleep in mind, making it an ideal bed alternative. A healthy life starts with a healthy night's sleep. Z-Cliner is more than just a recliner. It's a personalized comfort experience. It features multiple power adjustments like recline, headrest, lumbar, zero gravity, reducing pressure on your body, tech integrations like charging ports for easy modern living. We know life can be messy, stressful. That's why Z-Cliner is upholstered in a moisture and stain-resistant fabric, perfect for all-day enjoyment, even homes with pets and kids. Z-Cliner, a complete sleep solution. Get started. Unmatched comfort. Zcliner.com/Dan Patrick today to find a Z-Cliner at a store near you.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento, 916-779-0929. Let's get to phone calls, and we say hello to Nick. Hello, Nick. Welcome to the show.
Nape's big fan. So glad to hear you're back in Sac. Got a question for you in regards to the Kings and their lottery. Can you just please explain that on a NAPES level, how that works and what that means for the Kings?
Yes. As far as losing the tiebreaker to Utah, it means absolutely nothing in terms of their chances of getting the first, second, third, or fourth pick. The odds are identical for both Utah and Sacramento. The impact of losing the tiebreak would not come into play unless they don't get a top 4 pick. If they don't get a top 4 pick, it's most likely, based on percentages, that they would end up with either the 6th pick or the 7th pick.
Okay.
Now, if you want me to get into the nuts and bolts of the lottery and ask me to explain the absurdity of the percentages, I can't do that because it has made no sense to me over the years, and it makes less sense to me now when you have these type of odds that to me make little to no sense. I mean, to me, it is absurd that you can be a team like the Washington Wizards, okay, and you can end up with the worst record in the NBA, and your chance of getting the number 1 pick in the draft is the same as the second place Pacers, third place Nets, okay, at 14%. So you end up with the worst record in the league, and you only have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick, and only a 13.4 of 2 and a 12.7% of 3. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's absurd to me.
Agreed 100%. I figured you'd be the one to lay it down. And, again, it's something that just confuses us all. Thanks for making some of the complex understandable, Grant. I'm glad you're back in SAC.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate your support. Bye-bye. Ryan, we keep talking about the lottery, and to me, it makes less and less sense. It makes less sense to me now than maybe it ever has with the odds. Seriously, I mean that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No, I'm with you. As the years go along and nothing changes, it gets more confusing. And you see it work out less and less for the teams that are the ones with the best odds for the most part.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the game last night in New York. What did you take away from that game?
CJ McCollum is a beast. He's so clutch, and he's the right guy to have around that young group. The Knicks really choked it, 15 points in the fourth quarter. Too much to me, Jalen Brunson, and that's not been a one-game thing, a two-game thing in the playoffs. Mike Brown has relied far too much on him and not really utilized Cat. I mean, you look at the shot distribution, 26 shots for Jalen Brunson last night, only 12 for Cat. In fact, the most shots Cat's taken all of April is 13. Other nights, it's been all 12. So you got to find a way to get him more involved. But here's my hot take. I actually did not mind them even believing there was a timeout. I did not mind Mike Brown not using the timeout there.
I agree. Your defense is unsettled. You've got a good chance of getting a unbalanced shot. And he said after the game, by the way, he's not so certain he would have taken the timeout anyway.
Yeah, because the Knicks were struggling in the half court.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was going on. You let Atlanta set their defense. And let's be frank about it. Mikal Bridges had a great look. You can't ask for a better look than that in transition. One-on-one, 17-footer on the baseline. That's usually a knockdown shot.
Yeah, I'm with you. We're making too much out of that last sequence, but you can't make too much out of NBC. That's a mistake they can't make. That's their job. They can't make a mistake like that and mislead the viewers, which opens up a big-time can of worms in this day and age of social media and instant news coming from all of the media outlets, ripping the Knicks to shreds. And, you can't do it. You cannot make a mistake of that magnitude if you're NBC. It's unacceptable. By the way, the scoreboard hanging over the court had the Knicks with no timeouts left. The Knicks knew they had no timeouts left. How come NBC didn't?
Well, and that's the $1 million question, because I've seen with some of the systems that the Kings use, sometimes something is input incorrectly because it's not coming directly from the scoreboard, and then it gets cleaned up. So you don't know what they were looking at, but you have got to get that right.
They said it was a data error. They're blaming it on a data error. I don't care. You have a statistician that is normally on a network quality that's next to you, that's their job as well to fact check and do everything. It's a mistake all the way across the board for NBC.
That's what bugged me more about the entire thing. They come out during the halftime show of the next game and say it was a data error. Just own it. We were wrong.
Yes, exactly. Own it. Thank you very much. Don't make excuses. Just say, hey, you know what? We got it wrong. Don't blame it on a data error. If you're putting in billions of dollars into the TV package and can I make another comment about NBC?
Sure.
It is the first time, and by the way, let me preface this by saying I really like this individual, and I've had him on as a guest in the past multiple times, Jamal Crawford, but he is very weak as an analyst. And it's the first time I've heard him do a game, because a lot of times I watch the games without the sound on.
Yeah.
He is not good at all. You're going to tell me you can't do better than Jamal Crawford on NBC on a game of that magnitude? And this is somebody I have great affection for. I'm a big fan of his. He's a character guy, but I thought he was very bad on the air.
He's great in the studio, but in that role, it's much different, right? You've got a little more time to formulate your thoughts when you're
But he's
doing
good in the studio.
Yeah, he's
I've
great.
never watched him.
Oh, he's
I don't ever
excellent.
watch studio shows.
Excellent. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because Noah Eagle is going off of his statistician. He's going off of his director. How's that hit for you? Like, how would you be feeling today if you were Noah Eagle, or would you have done anything different?
I would feel awful about it as an announcer. It's not my job. We all have different roles when you're doing a game. And that's why it's a team. It's not just the play-by-play man and the analyst. I have people in the truck that can make me look good and they can make me look bad. That is not on Noah Eagle. He is going by the information that is given him. It's not like he's announcing a baseball game with, a box score in front of him. Okay. That's not the way it works in the NBA. He's juggling many things. One of them is not stats. Okay. Yeah. That is something I've never done in all of my years of announcing. I'm not in charge of the stats. I'm not aware of the stats. I am aware of doing my job. And that's why we have a statistician next to us. And that is why we have a stats monitor and everything else. Now, I can look on the stats monitor, which I normally would do, and I can look, which is on the stats monitor, the number of timeouts remaining. I'm not privy to what the stats monitor said in front of him. I also very often will look at the scoreboard when I'm doing a game to look at team fouls and timeouts, because that is easy to read. It's much easier for me to read that on a scoreboard than it is on a stats monitor. And the reason for that is the stats monitors in the arenas are not all crisp and clear, and they're in small print.
Right.
And the scoreboard right above me, or to my right or to my left, are in big numerals and much easier for me to see, and it's simplified. So in that situation, though, you need to know as a team, not Noah Eagle, what the correct number of timeouts is. But that is as bad as Noah Eagle sounded, because he had the information wrong. It's not his job to have that part of the information correct as a play-by-play announcer. That's not his responsibility. That's the responsibility of his team. Just like a pitcher that gets a routine ground ball to second and the second baseman makes an error. Well, that's not on the pitcher. That's on the second baseman. This is not on Noah Eagle.
Yeah, it's just a tough thing all around. And then, like you said, Mike Brown with social media, immediately people jumping on him. It was almost like NBC, the producer, was in Noah's ear, because the graphic goes up and Noah, one timeout left. Mike Brown's going to take it,
Yep.
And it just, it couldn't have worked out worse for the broadcast. But I
talked to, again, I think he's the number one statistician in the NBA and really in the country. And I think if you took a poll among network announcers, his name would come up as the best in the business. He's that good. And he would say in that situation, he would, within 3 seconds, be able to hand Noah on a little square piece of paper, no timeouts left. Okay? He would catch that. He would know, and he would give that. And first of all, he would also have told the truck. But I doubt if he were there, that mistake would have happened. Could have it had happened? Yeah, I mean, everyone makes mistakes. But with him, I would have said that was less likely to happen. But that's just because I've worked with him. I've known him for 30 years. He's the network level. Like, he's doing a game in the NBA. He's in LA tonight doing the Lakers game. Then he flies to Houston. Then he goes to Atlanta for game 3. I mean, the guy's at a different NBA city every night.
Wow.
Working on that. I mean, literally, he is at an NBA playoff game every night doing this.
Could you get him on the show? It would be really interesting.
I could get him on the show. I could. I actually had him on the show previously years ago. And I could. Let me think about it. I could.
Yeah.
So anyway, but listen, mistakes are always made. I mean, no one's perfect. He's not perfect. Noah's not NBC, but that is a bad time to make a mistake. With social media being the way it is, the Knicks got lambasted last night after the game. I mean, almost every single tweet was ripping the Knicks for not calling a timeout. Mike Brown, I think, kind of to defend himself of not having a timeout, said in the postgame press conference he's not so sure he would have taken it anyway.
Yeah, it's a shame, too, for the NBA, if you want to be frank, because these games, for the most part, have been incredible. And on some of these nights, we're coming out talking about Amazon Prime losing the connection, right, during the play-in. Now we're talking about the mistake instead of what we saw on the floor last night after just an awful 82-game season, and now you're getting this great playoff basketball. Switching gears really quick.
Before we switch gears real quickly.
Yeah.
I think one of the big storylines of the game that no one's talking about, and it's because the shot was missed. Can you imagine what the narrative would be? As great as C.J. McCollum was, that he missed 2 free throws that would have put the Hawks up by 3, and because he missed both, it gave the Knicks one last chance, and they made it.
Yeah.
I mean, could you just imagine if that shot had gone in from Bridges? We wouldn't be talking about any of this. We would be talking about how could a C.J. McCollum, a guy that can make free throws blindfolded, how is it that he missed both with 5.6 on the clock? That would have been a huge story.
It's an excellent point. Pressure is real.
Yes, it is.
Even with those guys.
Yep.
I just want to ask you, did Mike Vrabel throw Diana Rossini under the bus today?
You know what? No. Diana Rossini threw herself under the bus, and she has no one to blame but herself, okay? Diana Rossini is somebody that fabricated the story. But I'm saying that nice. She lied. She looks bad. It has cost her her job. She has not owned up to it. Whereas Mike Vrabel, in a delicate sort of way, did own up to it today. I wish he was more direct and more forthcoming, but that's his choice. It's not mine. It doesn't look good for Diana Rossini today, I would tell you that. But Diana Rossini's got no one to blame but herself. She's the one that is the NFL reporter. She's the one that came out and lied about what was going on at the resort and lied about being with her friends, which still to this day, on the 21st of April, there's no documentation of that. There's no photos of that. There's no witnesses of that, because there are no witnesses of it. There are no photos of it because it didn't happen.
Right.
She's the one, in my opinion, that looks much worse than Vrabel. That's just my opinion. And I'm not saying that because I'm a guy and she's a female and it's the female. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in this particular instance, okay, she's the one that doesn't have a job. She's the one that made up the story. And she is a NFL journalist who is having improper relations, regardless of what magnitude it is. She has had improper relations with somebody that she covers for her job in the NFL in a news gathering capacity. She's the one that looks real bad here.
And there's
in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's zero nuance to it. This is black and white. You can show a photo, you can show any number of things that could have set this aside and put it out within 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
But you can't provide it. But yet you're still standing on your high horse saying, I'm not going to give this any more oxygen. And it continues to make that statement look much worse with Vrabel coming out
It's
today.
just destroying her entire career. That's what it is doing.
What's the
plain and simple?
What would be the etiquette to that? If you are a Diana Rossini and you report on the NFL and you want to date a coach per se, is that something that
then you can't cover that team.
You can't cover the team.
You can't cover that team. You can't be assigned to cover anything going on with the Patriots. You can't ever be at a game in New England as a capacity of an NFL reporter. And when any news comes out of Foxborough via trade, a firing, what have you, somebody else from the Athletic has to cover. That is grounds off, period. That's what happens. Any story related to the Patriots, you're not allowed to cover. Any transaction related to the Patriots, you're not allowed to cover. Anything associated with the coach, you're not allowed to cover. That's how that would work.
Got it. That was easy. You knew that.
Yep.
Surprised she didn't.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. This from the 631. Mike Breen has made mistakes on the air, but usually he catches himself, or the statistician does. He admits it right away. Well, listen, we all make mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes in my career, many mistakes. And when you make a mistake, you go, I got that wrong. Sorry. I mean, listen, nobody's perfect. The only people I see perfect are on social media. They're perfect, but nobody else. All right, we'll come back. We'll continue on with this conversation at 916-779-0929. Grant Napear, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabroods does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabroods, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabroods.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won the Clutch Player of the Year. I've never really understood that award. I mean, I understand the concept of it, but I mean, I just, there are too many awards in the NBA. There really are. 916-779-0929. The games tonight in the NBA: Philadelphia, Boston, Portland, San Antonio, and Houston, and the LA Lakers. So, Ryan, here's my bold prediction, or excuse me, bold question of the day. If the Lakers win tonight, is this series going to be won by the Lakers?
No.
So you just think it's about holding serve, and you think the Rockets, if they get Durant back, we don't know about tonight, but they could come back being in a 0-2 hole, correct?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Look, LeBron, great. Don't get me wrong, but the athleticism is on the Rockets' side. And if you can get some version of Durant and a better version of Şengün, I think the Lakers. Here's the other thing we're not talking about. You think you're going to get what you got from Ayton every night in this series?
No,
I don't.
No way.
Yeah.
Based on what? He's never done that.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a shame, too, because, you know, these are the type of individuals in sport that make you scratch your head because they don't come to play every night. They don't have a motor. They don't have the self-start competitive fire where they would play for free, play on a playground outside in the rain. They only play when they're motivated, and their motivation determines how they perform on a night-to-night level. Some nights they're really into it. Some nights they're cavalier. Their approach to the game. I mean, it's a shame because when you look at him, Ryan, how many times have we talked about great performances from DeAndre Ayton? Well, we've talked also about as many no-shows from Ayton as we have about great performances. And that is so troubling when you're at this level with a professional athlete, because the word you're looking for is consistency. And he is as inconsistent as it comes. And yet he's got so much talent, and yet so much of it is wasted on a nightly basis.
And it's not something that's under the surface. Like, he
Correct.
knows that's the label. He's talked about it during the season and playing a role. It's an example, and I don't know if this is the case with him, but just because a person's in the NBA, the NFL, whatever it might be, doesn't mean that they love what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's correct. It may not be their passion. They may have other interests. They may not love what they're doing. It may be just strictly a paycheck.
Right.
And there are paycheck guys. I've been around a lot of paycheck guys. I know what paycheck guys are. They are Everyone in the locker room knows who paycheck guys are. Everybody in the organization knows who paycheck guys are. You don't win with paycheck guys. You send them to the door.
Check in, check out.
Yep.
Done. It's a transaction. It's a job.
Last one to arrive, first one to leave.
Yep.
Not putting in the extra work, not doing this, not doing that. That's what I loved about Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo, when he played with Sacramento, I had such an appreciation for him. And I was very direct with, I don't know if I ever told you the story. So I was really, really hard on Rondo, really hard on him, because I don't know if you remember what had happened with Dallas. They had actually released him, and Rick Carlisle didn't want him on the team, and it was really bad. It was a real bad situation. And I was campaigning, please don't sign Rondo, okay? And so I'm at Media Day, and I'm live on the radio, and my producer brings over Rajon, and he sits down, and I says, hey, we are live on the air. I'm letting you know that we're live. My name is Grant Napear. And I said, I really appreciate you coming over. And I said, I'm going to be very transparent with you. I was against you coming to Sacramento because of what happened in Dallas and some of the past episodes. Tell me why I'm wrong. That's how I started off the interview with him. And we had a great relationship. It was respectful. And I would compliment him often because of his work ethic and his preparation. In all of my years, okay, of covering the NBA, beginning with the internet and laptop computers, okay, which didn't exist when I first got into the NBA. But from the point when that became a thing, he was the only player, the only one in 32 years that would sit near the front of the bus on his laptop on the way to the games, going over video and scouting reports in the area where the assistant coaches sit, so that if he had questions, he could talk to them. The guy was always studying, was always looking at video, was as prepared as any player that I was around. That's why people thought that he could be a coach and that he could do this and he could do that. Now, I know he's had some off-the-court issues, and I get up. But in terms of his basketball acumen, his basketball knowledge, his preparation, as good as anybody I was around.
It's an incredible story. I wonder how much different your relationship would have been if you would have been the pushover during the interview. Oh, it's so great to have you in Sacramento, but you hit it head on. He, to me, is one of those players that it was mind over skill. He wasn't overly athletic. He was long, but his mind, he always made the smart plays. He knew where his teammates were always at. And that makes all the sense in the world when you talk about the preparation and what he put into it. And that was at a later stage in his career, too.
Said, Grant, with the Penguins losing the first and second games at home to the Flyers, is this the last playoff for great Sidney Crosby? Could very well be. What a career for Sid the Kid. Grant, I have nothing at all against having a female calling a game play-by-play on TV, but the female that did the A games last night in Seattle is intolerable. Had to turn the sound off and watch the game in silence, Tom. Jenny Carver, I'm sorry. I apologize for her last name eluding me. She's the worst play-by-play announcer I have ever heard at the big league level. And I don't know her. I don't wish her any harm. I don't know anything about her background. I am only telling you that I have no idea how she got a job at a major league level. I wouldn't have her at a AAA level. She is the worst play-by-play announcer I have ever heard in all of my years of watching baseball. And again, I have nothing against her. I haven't met her. I don't wish her harm. I am only responding to the text message. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, 916-779-0929. And I say that with this those opinions are subjective. That's how I feel. If you feel differently, I'm fine with that. Okay? I'm telling you how I feel, and this individual that sent the message as well. I'm also not factoring in Glenn Kuiper, who was ridiculously let go by that network in a just disgraceful act of dismissal. And so I say that with Glenn Kuiper being a really, really good representative of the A's, who did a great job with Dallas Braden. I thought they were a really good team. And then they went in a different direction. I don't know if it's woke. I don't know if it's, I have no idea. It's just another example of the ineptitude of what has been John Fisher and the way he runs his organization. And yet I say that, and Ryan and I have talked a lot about the A's this year and how we expect them to be really good and formidable and a possible playoff team, and encourage people to go to the games because you're only here for a short period of time and it's a good product. So I'm not anti-A's. I'm not an A's fan, but I am certainly not anti-A's. I think it's great they're here in Sacramento. I think it's tremendous that people like Ryan can take his family out to the game and, you know, get in the car and 20 minutes later be sitting in the stadium. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. And you better enjoy it because it's going to be gone before you know it. So that's how I look at the A's. But yeah, she's terrible. Gosh, terrible. I cannot watch an A's game with the sound on if she's doing it. I just can't. I can't. All right. 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. We've got Sean Salisbury coming up at 5 o'clock after Grant's rant. We've got a lot to talk about. The NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. What happened last night in the Carolina game was unprecedented. Something that's never happened before in the history of the National Hockey League, which is really saying a lot, okay? It was tremendous drama last night. And I think in sport, there is nothing better than overtime hockey. I think it is the best. It is so incredible. But last night, and I'll get to this next hour, Carolina was playing Ottawa. The game went to 2 overtimes, and Carolina won. The other games last night, Dallas evened up their series with Minnesota. They beat them 4-2. Edmonton edged Anaheim 4-3, and that was game 1 of that series. Philadelphia up 2-0 on Pittsburgh. They shut them out by the score of 3-0. But, you know, you always talk about, like, what are you going to see if you go to a game? Even if it's a playoff game or a regular season game, you may see something that's never happened before in all of the years of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you were at the game and you were there late. You were there late because the game went into the night with 2 overtimes. It's fabulous. That's a lot of hockey. That's a lot of hockey. I'll tell you what happened when we come back. And I say that because it's never happened before. That's next, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
It's the All Things Legal Show, heard every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Join your host, Craig Ashton, with an entertaining and eclectic view of all things legal. Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
A personal question. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It's a whole lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever toilet paper leaves behind. You can make the trade of the season. Switch from toilet paper and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down.
I love the exercise classes at the senior center, and I love eating healthy, but it can be expensive. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to programs that help me pay for groceries. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
So last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Ottawa's playing Carolina in Carolina. In the first overtime, Carolina scores the game winner, and it's going crazy. All right, the place is off the hook, overtime goal, and then they review the goal, and they determine that the Carolina Hurricanes were offsides by a whisker, and so the goal was nullified. However, on the play, the officials had called a hooking penalty with the player being on a one-on-one situation with the goalie, thus a penalty shot. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why would the penalty shot still be enforced? And I can't answer that question because it doesn't make sense to me because the play should have been whistled dead before that. So, there's a penalty shot. Ottawa stops the shot. So, no goal, review, offsides, but the hooking penalty remains, and it is awarded a penalty shot. Okay? Amazing. Jordan Martinook, who missed the penalty shot, scores in the second overtime at the 13:53 mark, and Carolina is now up 2-0 on the Ottawa Senators. When you want to talk about a crazy, crazy ending to a game, Rhino, that goes down as one of the all-timers right there.
Talk about a whirlwind for the fans.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
Yeah.
Could
you imagine if they had lost that game after everyone thought they had won it in that fashion?
Unreal. You would have rather had the power play, I think, than the penalty shot, right?
Yes. Yes, I would think so. It's a great question. Most coaches would probably say, no, give me a chance to win it with, a player of that caliber. Maybe I should retract that. I don't know if I'd rather have a power play. It's overtime. Are you going to get a better chance in overtime than a one-on-one with the goalie?
The goalie was hot. He was playing well. It's a interesting. I bet you would get a split answer from the different coaches depending on their approach. But man,
What I do know is the Carolina fans were treated to an unbelievable range of emotions in those overtimes.
It's the beauty of sports.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Who are you taking tonight in the NBA? All right. Let's start with Philadelphia, Boston. I think we both would agree Boston, correct?
Yes, Boston.
San Antonio, we're both taking to them.
I'm going to go with the Blazers.
Okay.
For the upset. Why? I just think that Denny Advia can do so many different things. That team can get hot from beyond the arc. If you can let Wemby beat you and not let anybody else get theirs, there could be a pathway there. I would like to see, I think you will see a close game, probably the Spurs, but something in my gut tells me the Blazers could get this one.
All right. Houston, LA Lakers.
Houston gets back on track tonight.
Okay. I agree. All right. Bold prediction of the day, of the 4:00 hour. Jason Kidd will be the head coach of the New York Knicks next season. Yes or no?
Man, that was one I was not expecting. No.
For the record,
no.
He's under contract. And if there was a vacancy in New York, the Mavericks could deny Jason Kidd to even talk to the Knicks. So let's, first of all, put that out there. I'm going to say, before you answer your question, I think it's a real possibility. He's number one on the Knicks' radar. They wanted him before they hired Mike Brown. They didn't get permission to talk to him. I think things have changed in Dallas with the trade and everything else. There have been some rumblings. I think Jason Kidd would be thrilled to leave Dallas if he could coach the New York Knicks. And I could see it being a new start for Dallas and go in a different direction. He's been there a while now. If Mike Brown is no longer the coach of the Knicks, I could see that. I'm going to say yes, he will be.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think Mike Brown will still be the coach of the Knicks next year.
He will not be the coach of the New York Knicks if they lose to the Atlanta Hawks. And if they play badly and get beat in the second round, he will not be the head coach of the New York Knicks.
I just don't see, if you're Jason Kidd, why you would want to take that job. I get it's the pinnacle. It's one of the top jobs in sports, but knowing what the expectation is and knowing how erratic that owner is, if you really don't think you can take that team over the top, why even go there? Why hurt your legacy? I kind of think it's prudent to stay in Dallas with Cooper Flagg coming up. They're going to have another pick here in the draft. I don't think Dallas is all that undesirable. You got
I don't think it's
Irving.
undesirable. I would never say Dallas is undesirable, but it's not New York. It's not Madison Square Garden. He's played in New York before with the Nets. He understands what the dynamic is as a player, as a coach, and he understands the landscape of the market. And the Knicks still, regardless of whether Mike Brown is the coach or not next year, they have a very good roster. It's not like he would inherit a bad roster. It's much better than Dallas's roster.
Would Jason Kidd have a longer leash in New York than a Mike
There
Brown?
is no such thing as a long leash in
All
New
right.
York.
There you go.
I mean, Mike Brown doesn't even have a leash. I mean, like, my point is, well, no, I'm telling you, Mike Brown is not going to be back as coach of the Knicks next year if they lose to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm just telling you.
I don't think they're going to lose to the Hawks.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, if he does, he's out. The Knicks are in a really delicate situation right now for a variety of reasons. Last year, firing Tom Thibodeau after making it to the Eastern Conference Finals, the owner going on the all sports talk station, WFAN in New York, the day of the Pistons game in the middle of January, stating that he expects his team to win the championship, blah, blah, blah. And they get blown out that night by Detroit.
Well,
okay.
I mean, even if he doesn't do that podcast, you already knew that was the expectation. I think when we look back 5 years from now at this whole Knicks run window, whatever you want to call it, firing Tom Thibodeau is going to be the biggest mistake the Knicks made.
I agree. I totally agree. I don't disagree with that at all. From the 405, what is your take on the Bulls losing Billy Donovan? Any hope for that great franchise going forward? Yeah, because it's Chicago. That's number 2 on the list in New York would be Billy Donovan. So I'm just telling you, this is going to be a very fluid situation. And I'm with you. I think the Knicks win this series. I think they're going to go and win game 3, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think they're going to win game 3.
I don't see the appeal of Billy Donovan. And, he probably could have had that UNC job. He was high on their list. And he didn't take it or did not engage, whatever way you want to look at it. And now he walks away from the Bulls. You think the Knicks would want him?
Yes, I think he would be very high on their list. Yep. I think he would be very high on their list.
Hey,
he's from Long Island. He's a New York guy. He is very well respected and loved in the New York area. He is somebody that I think would be very high. He was with the Knicks organization. Gosh, I think he was with the Knicks organization as a player back in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And he's a guy that I think would be on the radar. Would I do it? No, I would not do it.
You know what's really interesting? I don't know that I've seen a new owner get off to a worse start than the guy that's owning the Portland Trail Blazers right now. Have you seen? He is getting crushed online. We talked about it yesterday, but before games, he's up getting shots, doing whatever. You don't bring your G League guys out and you're out there taking shots. It just looks really bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. Grant, what are some of the aspects that jump out to you as a poor play-by-play commentary when you're listening as a broadcaster yourself? Command of the game, voice, the nuances that an announcer uses. Is it manufactured? Is it real? Are they able to translate the big moments of the game that has me on the edge of my seat? All of those things. That's what I look for. Inflection in your voice. Now, each sport is different. Baseball is more of a storytelling type of a broadcast. That's why I have never done baseball. I don't think I would be good at baseball. I think I could do it, but I don't think I would be good at it. It doesn't fit my personality. It's too slow of a game.
I don't think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I would not enjoy it because I don't enjoy being a storyteller for 2.5 hours surrounded by statistics. It's not what I like. I would not enjoy it. That's correct. It would be very difficult for me. I could do it. I think I could announce, as I said, 2 dogs running across my front lawn, but it would not be something I would enjoy getting up and going to the ballpark every day. And I've never done it. I haven't had a desire to do it. If somebody ever said, hey, would you like to be a guest announcer for an inning? I would do it just to check that box off, but that's it.
You're a great storyteller, so you wouldn't be bad there. It's just too slow.
It is too slow for me. It doesn't fit my personality.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Does not fit my personality.
It's a long schedule, too.
It's ridiculous. And if you're working for a bad team, can you imagine anything worse? And I say this, and I have to understand there are people that, are police, firefighters, nurses, right? I get all of that, hard labor. But can you imagine being in my profession and working for a really bad baseball team and having to do 162 games and going into Kansas City in the middle of July when it's 100 degrees, or Miami indoors where there's 2,000 people at the game and no one cares and your team's 20 games out of first place? How brutal that would be.
Be like Bob Uecker in Major League.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. How about Bob Uecker, the late Bob Uecker? But yeah, it does not fit my personality. So it's a sport that I've never had a desire to do. Give me hockey, and you'll never see me again.
Man,
hockey.
This Jenny for the A's is getting a lot of heat from the fans. Looking at the text line.
You know what? Again, I don't know her. I am not talking about anything to do with her as a person. I don't wish her harm. I don't, I all I'm talking about is from a professional perspective. Okay. What's her last name? Kavnar? Jenny Kavnar. I think she is the worst baseball announcer I have ever heard. And it is amazing to me that she was able to land a job with a major league team. Amazing to me. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of more qualified, better candidates than her. It is, once again, a owner who doesn't give a damn about their fans and what they want and what they think. It's horrible. Awful.
Dorian's
I don't know what else to say.
Dorian is onto something here. You would be a great WWE announcer.
That ain't ever happening.
You would be so good at that.
Yeah. I would first of all have to learn all about the sport and everything else. I wouldn't. You know what? Here's the deal. You can't be good at something that you don't have a passion for. I've always said that when I talk to kids. Don't go into something if you don't have a passion for it. I would not be good at it because I don't have a passion for it. In order to be good at something, you have to have a passion for it. And so, especially in this profession, you can't manufacture passion. You can't make believe in this profession. And so I would not be good at it because I don't have a passion for it. I don't have a love for it. I don't have an appreciation for it. It's the same way I wouldn't be able to do soccer. I don't have a passion for it. Even though I could study it and learn the game and the nuances and the terminology, I could do all of that. But I don't have a passion for it. Can't be good at something you don't have a passion for.
Well, how do you know you don't have a passion for it? I think I need to
very
take.
simple.
I think I need to take you to a show.
I still wouldn't have a passion for it. It's like I would find it entertaining, and I would be okay to go and watch it because I've watched wrestling in the past, and I used to, as a kid, watch it all the time. I told you about watching Gorilla Monsoon and Ivan Putski in those.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm foreign to it. It's not like I've never watched it in the past. But at this time of my life, in this place of my life, I couldn't do it because I would never have a passion for it, even if you took me to it.
Fair enough. Joe Tessitore has crossed over. He's calling WWE and ESPN.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware of that. But I can't speak for Joe because I don't know Joe, and I don't know whether he was a wrestling guy or not before he did it. So I don't know what his background is. I'm just telling you, you can't just, if you're genuine and you're like, when you're in this profession, like people always talk about announcers, right? Mm-hmm. Kevin Harlan, right? Yeah. The energy, the passion. You can tell that Kevin absolutely loves what he's doing. Okay. Like if you're never going to listen to a game that Kevin Harlan's doing on TV or radio and come away saying that guy doesn't love his job. He does, you would never say that about him.
No.
Right?
Never.
But I don't know if I could have Kevin do a sport that he's not really a fan of and have the same type of reaction after the game is over from a viewer. Maybe I would because he's such a consummate professional and maybe he could do everything. But I mean, I've talked to a lot of announcers. I mean, Mike Breen did ski jumping at the Olympics one year when they had Eddie the Eagle in Salt Lake City. And I asked Mike about that.
Yeah.
And he said, to be honest, he goes, that's where you just shut up and rely on your analyst and you just get in and out. You don't even try to attempt to describe what's going on other than, how long the jump was and the score. You let the analyst describe the technique and everything. I'm like, yeah, I get that loud and clear. Seriously.
Kevin Harlan just seems like he has a passion for life. I mean, you get streakers on the field, and he's calling the streakers.
Right.
Yep. He just gets it. He gets the levity, and he also gets the importance of the big moments.
Said broadcasting shouldn't be about moving up in a company. You should be qualified. It's a dream job. Correct. You need to be qualified. And you need to be good when you get to the big leagues, okay? And there are too many announcers now working for local teams that, in my opinion, are not good and don't deserve to be there. I see it every night when I watch games.
Well, isn't this kind of a product of the internet age where we're at now? Because qualifications to call games is changing. It's not like it was for you coming up, right? Where you had to go to school for broadcasting and you had to do the funeral report sponsored by Klotz Flowers. It can be somebody that, starts off an internet show or a podcast and then ends up moving up, crossing over. And it's interesting how those two roads, because there's two separate completely schools of the business, are going to continue crossing as we move into the future.
It has changed a lot. It has changed a lot. It has changed a lot. There's no question about that. All right, don't forget Sean Salisbury after Grant's Rant coming up at 5 o'clock today. This is Fox Sports Sacramento.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one, with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
At the Y, strength means something different. It means people of all ages being together. It means you can be swishing the game-winning shot, learning to plie in first position, jabbing, crossing, and hooking a punching bag, canoeing in the lake at summer camp, donating food for your neighbors, watching your son learn about water safety in the pool. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
The other part of the game in New York last night, and it's a good thing the Atlanta Hawks won the game, because in the last 2-minute report, in the final 10 seconds, there were 2 calls that went against the Atlanta Hawks. The NBA said that there should have been an illegal screen called on Karl Anthony Towns on Brunson's three-pointer that made it 107 to 106. So that should have not counted. And they also said Bridges had an uncalled lane violation on a McCollum missed free throw. Now, that I think happens a lot. But I thought it was an illegal screen when I was watching the game live, and they didn't really get into that. But that's a big missed call there. So, I mean, had the Knicks won the game, that's all you would have been hearing about from the Atlanta media. And I hate the last 2-minute report. I don't understand the purpose of it. Maybe, Ryan, you could help me out here because you're more on the gambling angle than I am. Do you think that's for gamblers? Do you think that is for transparency in the gambling world, or what? Why do you think that is?
No, you can't do anything to fix it.
Okay.
I'm with you. We got it wrong, but there's nothing you can do about it. Gamblers probably moved on by that point because the sports book isn't going to take the 2-minute report into account and say, you know what, we will cash those tickets now.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know, was there a sport that you wanted to call that you never got a chance to? No. My dream was to announce hockey. As a kid, I did that both in the college and the NHL level. My dream was to announce NFL football. I did that for 5 years. And then obviously the NBA was a dream of mine too. Those are the 3 sports I always wanted to announce, and I've done them. So I didn't have any other sport that I wanted to announce. So I've been blessed. I've been blessed. And if I don't call another game, I don't have any regrets in any way, shape, or form. I don't. I've announced so many great games, so many great moments. I don't know what else to say. I'm blessed. I don't ever regret it. There's never a moment of my career that I regretted, whether I was making $12,300 a year as a news photographer during the week at WAND in Decatur, going out and shooting city council meetings and car accidents and things of that nature. There's nothing I would change in any way, shape, or form about my career. I wouldn't change one thing in any stop that I made along the way. Not one thing. So when you can say that about your career, which is still ongoing, I think that's good if anybody can say that. Do you have any regrets? None. I don't have any regrets at all.
It's pretty cool.
Brian, you're going to get there too someday.
Amen.
Other than regretting working for me, but
and not getting my passport. But
yeah.
Question: what would be more appealing for you right now? Would it be TV or radio?
Radio. If you could give me a radio play-by-play job, I would take that over a TV play-by-play job. I never got into this business. Most every single announcer that you watch on network TV now started off doing radio play-by-play. Very, very few ever just walked into a team as a TV announcer. They were all radio guys. Even Kevin Harlan was the radio announcer for the Kings in Kansas City. He was the radio announcer for the Kansas City.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was the radio announcer for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a radio guy. Iron Eagle, Mike Breen did radio for many, many, many years before he did the Knicks on TV. I mean, that's across the board. The real love of this profession is radio, not TV. I used to love it when we used to have video problems on the telecast.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do a radio play-by-play during the game. And, again, I hate to keep talking about this, but, the video that's on the internet that Dave Grashoff put out, who's just the best. He's great. of me doing the Kings Mavericks playoff game back in the early 2000s. That's one of my favorite pieces of video that I've ever seen, because he put a microphone on me before I was doing the game on radio, and I was announcing the game by myself in the playoffs. And he has one shot after a timeout where he zooms into me, and I look like I'm getting ready to jump over the table and play myself. Right?
Like
Remember that
19 water
expression?
bottles next
Yeah,
to you.
right.
Weber's got that dirty, nasty
Yeah.
look on his face.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is one of my favorite pieces, or that's one of my favorite things that anyone's ever documented about me. And from time to time, I go back and watch it
You have to.
because I can't believe I'm doing that. Like I'm like, was that really me? Did I really do that? Like that to me was, you talk about, I'm not comparing myself to Kevin Harlan. What I'm comparing myself to are, like, what did I just tell you? And this is a lesson for anybody that's trying to get into the business. You better be passionate about what you're doing in this business. Okay. You better come with energy. You better, like, your vibe through the microphone and into the camera better be one. Wow. That person loves what he's doing or what she's doing. Right. And if that person that's watching at home or listening on the radio doesn't think that you love what you're doing, then you're not doing a good job. It's plain and simple. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And I've been like that ever since I was announcing games on the schoolyard in 4th grade. Like, I love doing this. Well, it's the truth.
I know. You had to go get your grilled cheese sandwich and get to the court so you could reserve it.
Absolutely. 2 grilled cheese sandwiches if I could.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to go butter with the grilled cheese, right?
I did a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
That helps a lot. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Yeah. But radio is where it's at. And like my dream job would be radio hockey. Give me a hockey play-by-play job on radio. I don't care what I'm making. I don't care where I'm sitting in the arena, which, by the way, for hockey is important, but I'd make it work. And give me that job, and I'm good. I'm riding off into the sunset, Rhino.
That'd be fun. That would be really fun.
Yes, I would not be talking to you every day, my friend.
I know. I would have
to leave this job and go do my hockey play-by-play.
Yeah, I'd have to find a way to drag you around here.
By the way, to my bosses, I don't have any resumes currently out for hockey jobs. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. I'm not looking for hockey jobs. Okay, don't think I'm gonna come in to knock on your door and go, hey, I got to give my notice. I just got a job to do hockey. That's not happening. Just talking about in a fantasy world.
Nothing wrong with dreaming.
No, absolutely. And again, I was blessed to do a game with Wayne Gretzky playing. So that was a big thrill to announce a game that Wayne Gretzky's playing in. Yeah. All right. Hockey tonight. Speaking of hockey, the Stanley Cup playoffs, which I love watching. I would tell you, though, I didn't watch what happened in the Carolina game last night, but I will be watching game 2 of the Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights from Vegas, with Vegas up 1-0 in that series. Buffalo and Boston are going to face off here momentarily. Buffalo scored 4 times late in the third to come from behind and win that game 4-3 after trailing 2-0. Tampa is on the board against Montreal. They lead 1-0 halfway through the first, and a little bit later, the Kings and the Avs from Colorado. So that is your NHL story tonight. And, of course, the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers are already down 13 in the first quarter to Boston. It's 26-13. Then you got Portland, San Antonio, followed by Houston and the LA Lakers. That San Antonio game will start at 5:10. So that is your scoreboard. And then, of course, the Giants. The Giants and the Dodgers, game 1 of a 3-game set. And the Giants, boy, do they need a lift here at home. And what better time than against the first place LA Dodgers without Edwin Diaz now for a couple of months, surgery on his elbow. They do expect him to be able to come back this year. And I don't think the Dodgers are going to be in trouble. They won't need Edwin Diaz until you get into October anyway. So he's got plenty of time to rehab and get back. And as long as he's good for the playoffs, that's all that matters if you're the Dodgers. I mean, they're stacked. I don't see how the Dodgers, and I give the Padres credit for hanging on there right now, but when I watch, sometimes I do watch the Dodgers, Ryan.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at their lineup and I'm looking at their pitching and I'm like, how can you beat this team? Seriously. And yet Toronto had how many opportunities to win that game last year in the World Series in Game 7? So it can happen, but I look at that team and I'm like, how can you beat this team?
Well,
it's unbelievable to me.
They're human too. They go through the lulls. They'll go through streaks. It's such a long season. I mean, anytime you take that long of a season and you put it to 7 games, who can win 4 first?
Yep.
You know, these are all professionals out there. Payroll does not matter once you're on that stage. So I think that's kind of, for me, why I would vote against a salary cap in baseball, because I like the David versus Goliath. Now, I'm also don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to having a small market baseball team that I cheer for. So I'm on the other side of that as well.
Says, how do you make a grilled cheese without butter? You can do it. I've done it before. You can do it. But yeah, I'm with you on that. But I've done it. I've had to make grilled cheese sandwiches where I didn't have any butter.
You got to do butter. Yeah,
well, I know, but you can put a little olive oil on the pan. I mean, there are ways to do it.
Have you ever put the cheese directly in the pan right before the grilled cheese is done, and then you put the bread on top of the cheese so it crisps on the outside of the bread?
Yeah.
Let's
I
go.
haven't done that.
Gotta
I'm a
try
pretty
that.
basic guy, I don't get too fancy with this stuff, but thank you for the tip. What are you going to make me? Bruschetta one of these days? Yeah, that's exactly right. You told me you make great bruschetta. So I'm going to take, but you got to get your passport first. And you got to watch Shawshank Redemption. And then we can work on making me bruschetta. All right, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. We got a lot going on with the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs. The A's are in Seattle. Game 2 of that 3-game set, and the Giants beginning a series against the LA Dodgers in San Francisco. So we've got a lot happening. I mean, this is the time of year where, you don't even talk about golf. And yet there's a lot going on in golf. But it's like, we don't have time for that. But we do have time to talk to Ali. Ali, welcome to the show. You're on with Grant Napear.
Hi. How you doing, Grant? Right now,
I'm good.
As well.
Thank you.
This call let you know that, what's the name? I just visited Japan, Shanghai, and also Seoul, Korea. And
Great.
Unfortunately didn't get to see a baseball game in Japan, but I was able to, last day in Seoul, I was able to see Busan Giants versus the LG Twins. And I'm telling you, the crowd is electric. It puts our MLB games here to shame.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, I've watched them on TV before. When I'm over in Asia, it's incredible. It's like every game is like a 7th game of a World Series. It's unbelievable.
Yep. Every inning. I mean, it felt like I'm at a Sac Republic game with the drums and everything. They didn't need to play music and or pumping the crowd noise. I mean, it was just loud. It was electric. So Ryan was missing out with not having his passport, unfortunately, again. Hopefully someday.
Yeah. How did you like Shanghai? That's one of my favorite cities in the world.
Oh, beautiful. Shanghai. Yeah, the whole family loved it. I mean, I wish we had, instead of 4 or 5 nights there, we had more nights there. But, Tokyo was nice too. A couple cities over there. But Seoul, Korea was also nice. But overall, great experience visiting that area for the first time.
Good for you. I'm happy that you had a good time. Shanghai, again, is one of my favorite cities in the world. I love being in Shanghai. I was there twice with the Kings. And I just love that city. That city is incredible. It is incredible. The first time I was at Shanghai, in 2004, I believe the population of Shanghai was, if I'm not mistaken, right around 13 million. And when I went back in 2014, it was at 25 million. I mean, the city just grew even so fast. But the beauty of that city at night, oh my gosh, that city is
it's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
Taking the little ferry on the little seeing the sky, skylines and everything. Very epic and very unique.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well,
thanks
for your time.
calling. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.
You guys take care.
I recommend anybody that gets over to China. You got to go to Shanghai and you got to go to Beijing. You have to go to the Great Wall. You just have to go to the Great Wall. If you're going to go to China, make it happen. The Great Wall is unbelievable. It really is. All right, we will take a timeout. Don't forget, Sean Salisbury after Grant's Rant right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Let's go. Jackson. We're giving away life-changing cash at Jackson. Spin the super prize wheel, and you can win up to $1 million. Fridays and Saturdays, 5 to 10 p.m. Sundays, 2 to 7 p.m. Jackson Rancheria. Let's go. Buckle up, because we're also giving away an RV this Memorial Day. Earn entries now playing your favorite games, and be here 8 p.m. for your chance to win. Let's go. Let's go. You know the songs, you know the sound. Now you can hear them live at Jackson. Eagles tribute band One of These Nights is live June 13th. And our tribute series is packed with iconic rock. Journey Revisited, Skinnerd and Friends, CCR, and more. Let's go. Let's go. Let's rock. The music and the wins are waiting at Jackson. Jackson, 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 Jackson. Let's go.
2 words, prostate exam. Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
At the Y, strength means something different. It means people of all ages being together. It means you can be swishing the game-winning shot, learning to plie in first position, jabbing, crossing, and hooking a punching bag, canoeing in the lake at summer camp, donating food for your neighbors, watching your son learn about water safety in the pool. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
Grant's Rant coming up next segment. Sean Salisbury after that. Tomorrow, Old and Pollinates. Thursday, the NFL Draft. Thank goodness. We're going to be talking a lot about that coming up on the show with Sean Salisbury. in a little bit, and of course lead you up to round one on Thursday, the National Football League. A lot of talk about the Niners maybe moving down in this draft. They got the 27th overall pick. Of course, there was a big trade over the weekend with the Giants acquiring the 10th overall pick in the first round from the Cincinnati Bengals for Dexter Lawrence. We talk about Jeremiah Love and where he's going to go in the NFL draft. Will it be third to Arizona? Will it be fourth to Tennessee or fifth to the Giants or Dallas? Or would it be Washington at 7? The big news in the NFL continues to be at the moment off the field is Mike Vrabel had comments today. As a matter of fact, if you're joining us late, I'm going to let you listen to the press conference that Mike Vrabel had earlier in just a moment. So we'll let you listen to that. Mike Tomlin is joining NBC as a studio analyst for the Sunday Night Football package. I wonder how much longer it's going to be before Mike Tomlin is on the sideline coaching again. So, again, we've got the draft. And why are the Pittsburgh Steelers giving Aaron Rodgers space to make a decision with Mike McCarthy? Okay. A voluntary mini camp is underway. Aaron Rodgers was not there. Not that he has an obligation to be there, but he's unsigned. He's a free agent. I mean, here's the quote yesterday from Omar Khan, the general manager. We've had some great communication with Aaron and nothing's changed, but it's all been positive and good. And I said this to you guys in March when we met. He knows how we feel about him, and we know how he feels about us. You know, why is Aaron Rodgers so difficult to deal with? You're either playing or not playing. Make up your mind, would you please? Are you playing or are you not playing? And I love Aaron. I've known the guy personally, but come on, Aaron, stop it already, would you please? It's April, all right? It's actually the end of April. All right, we're in the back end of April. Would you please make a decision and let people know what you're going to do? All right, you know what you want to do. Stop stringing along the Steelers in the NFL. Are you going to play or are you not going to play? Let's go. Make up your freaking mind, would you please? I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, it's not like we're talking about a 28 or 30-year-old Aaron Rodgers here. We're talking about an old man. All right, you're either playing or you're not playing. Let's go. Make up your mind. And if I'm the Steelers, you know, I got to move on with my franchise. I got the draft coming up in 48 hours, okay? I've got a new coach. I've got a new era, Ryan, of Pittsburgh Steelers football. If I'm the Steelers, I'm letting Aaron know, you need to let us know what you're doing by this time and this date. Thank you very much.
You know what Aaron needs? He needs
what?
Spends a night in the box.
That's what Aaron needs.
A night in the box.
That's what he needs. But no, seriously.
By the way, Aaron likes isolation. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, I am aware of that. I never thought somebody would be more dramatic and annoying and dragging things out than his predecessor, Brett Favre.
Oh,
but
my
he
God.
has surpassed
Yes, he has.
Brett Favre at this point.
Yes, totally agree with you. He has, which is hard to do, as you just pointed out very well.
Grant,
like, how does
there was
that work?
Jet watch. Is this plane in the air? Where is it going? Like, oh, man.
I mean, seriously, you're right about Favre. That was what a soap opera that was. This is absurd. It's ridiculous. It's the 21st of April. We got the draft on Thursday. Huh? Come on.
He puts okay, and we're not talking, no disrespect to Aaron. We're not talking about a top 5 quarterback in the league.
No, we're talking about a middle-of-the-road quarterback in the NFL.
That's leaving a team hanging going into the draft.
It's unbelievable.
Again.
Now, maybe he's told them secretly, you know what, I'm going to come back, but I'm not going to announce it because I don't want all the, you know, maybe that's already been done. Maybe that they know, but I doubt it.
He probably hasn't even taken his ayahuasca trip yet. You know, that's where he finds himself and he goes.
You need a passport for that?
I think you do, because you take something and you
spends a night in the box.
Spend a night in the box.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Saying.
Okay. I didn't know if that was outside of the United States and you need your I don't know.
Yes, it is outside the United States.
Is that in Central America?
I believe so.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Which you can't get to. I could go there tonight, but you can't.
It's between the ayahuasca and I forget where it is in the world.
By the way, that's not on my bucket list, just so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I would think not. There's also these bees that have hives like way up in the mountains, and
Ooh.
apparently the honey has a high effect. So it is sought after as well.
Yeah, I won't be doing that either.
Yeah, you should see what these guys do to harvest the honey.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
insane.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No.
So earlier today, Mike Vrabel took some questions, as you said, about what has been in the news with him and Diana Rossini.
You know, I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. You know, we believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction. You know, and those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and, you know, to ourselves. Care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know, and I'm excited to do that.
Translation: I got caught cheating on my wife. I lied about it 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to do better. And I've had very difficult conversations at home with my loved ones. That's what that was today. And meanwhile, we got Diana Rossini over there, who's hiking with her friends. Oh, no, that's right. She wasn't hiking with her friends, who, did not resign for any other reason than she didn't want to publish. Oh, yeah, right. This whole thing is a joke. It just really is. I mean, it's just, let's move on, right? Do you think this story is over, or do you think there's more to come with this story?
I think you're going to get a story about the story
I
at
agree.
some point.
I agree.
An expose.
And you're going to find people are now, right? You know this. This has been going on for the last 2 weeks. Every single photo of Mike Vrabel over the last few years and every single photo of Diana Rossini, every piece of videotape, anything is being completely analyzed under a microscope.
Oh, yeah.
You know it, and I know it.
No doubt about it. It's going to be one of those extra long articles.
Yes.
On a competitor like ESPN's website detailing everything that happened, speaking to sources.
Exactly.
Etc. She just played the AI game the wrong way. She's like, oh yeah, they just edited out the people, and like at best what they were doing with the picture where it looks like they're holding hands, it's like an awkward team building exercise from 10 years ago that offices would have. It just, there's no excuses.
And isn't it like, if you are an educated adult, all right, and I'm going to use adult, not teenagers. If you're an educated adult, are you stupid to think that this story that you're fabricating, in other words, that you are telling the world, is not going to be completely uncovered in a matter of moments with video cameras, eyewitnesses, guests at the hotel? Like, what would make you think that this story, Ryan, could go in the direction that Diana and Mike wanted it to go in?
Well, I think Sean hit the nail on the head. If I had to put a bet on how those photos came about, somebody was hired and looking for Mike and Diana, whether it's a family member or whatnot. Grant, my experience with some of this stuff, I told you before, it's called catch and kill. You know, a lot of times it's called catch and kill.
Yeah.
Some of these things where these pictures will be presented to the attorneys, the reps, the agents for Mike and or Diana, and give them a chance to, pay a price tag to own them. And then there's like, well, do you really own them? Could they have other copies, etc.? So that's where the attorneys get involved. But I wonder how many times these things have happened that never came to light, because it happens very commonly in the internet age.
And and then we get down to the bottom line. The bottom line is this going to affect the New England Patriots on the field? And the answer to that is no, it's not. It's not going to have any impact in the meetings, in the coach's room. It's not going to be a distraction. It's April, okay? So unless there is more pictures, video, information coming out that would be damaging to Mike Vrabel, this will be done with by the time training camp starts at the end of July.
Yeah, and the real unfortunate part, and we don't have all the facts. I mean, it's pretty safe to make
but we have common sense.
Yes, we have common sense, and pretty safe based off of how this is all played out to make some educated guesses as to what happened. But the victims here are the families, right? We're talking about New England and football and everything is going to be fine. Well, it's not fine for those families, the husband of Diana, the wife of Mike. That stinks.
And when it becomes public and you're a private person, like the spouses of these individuals, you then become like a focal point, and you can't go to the store. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go anywhere without people looking at you and talking behind your back. And your private business now is not private anymore in terms of your family dynamics have completely changed because of the societal platform that we all live under now, being social media, video phones, CCTVs, audio, like that's just the reality of the situation. So the impact is not just with you, the bigger impact is with your family members and your loved ones who now have been brought into an arena that they don't want any part of, that they weren't expecting. And the domino effect of all of that is absolutely brutal for your loved ones.
Well said. Well said. And think about this. People are now incentivized to go out and catch that picture of Mike Vrabel's wife or catch that picture of Diana's husband, because guess what? Page 6, they're going to buy those. TMZ.
Oh, boy.
They'll buy them.
Yep.
It's brutal.
Yeah. What a world we live in. Sean Salisbury, he is coming up in a couple of moments right after Grant's rant. Village Financial Group. They are awesome. They're looking out for your best interest. Spencer Grimmenstein, broker owner of Village Financial Group since 2000, a locally owned business, a guy that is super talented in his profession. Talk about financing, so creative, access to private money. Call or text Spence at Village Financial Group at 916-805-4868 for all of your real estate needs. That's 916-805-4868. Again, call or text. You can go to their website, vfgloans.com. Check out thousands of available listings. He'll do it all. It's like a boutique white glove service from the start line to the finish line. That's Spence at Village Financial Group. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Grant's Rant, Sean Salisbury, right around the corner.
These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance. Scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals. But Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really start to come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that helps you keep what matters most, money. No hassle, just confidence that your coverage is customized with savings in mind. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local independent agent.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabrewed. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabrewed or visit Gabrewds.com. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Injured in an accident? You need a winner in your corner. Call us, the Accident Guys.
Insurance companies hire the best, and so should you. 877-888-GUYS.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Bengals had a clear plan in mind this offseason. Fix the defensive line and do it now. By sending the 10th overall pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence, Cincinnati landed one of the premier interior defenders in football. It's a move that immediately raises the floor of a unit that was on the floor. Lawrence is not a projection. He's a proven talent. He lives in the opposition's backfield. He's physical, capable of clearing rushing lanes for outside pass rushers. That's the appeal. The concern is everything else that comes with it. He arrives with a massive contract, and paired with deals for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, the Bengals are now committing an immense amount of cap for just 4 players. Lawrence will make this team better immediately, but process matters. A top 10 pick offers cost control, flexibility, and the chance to build youthful depth. And for a team that's not just one player away, that's a gamble that extends well beyond the defensive line. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Personal question. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It's a whole lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever toilet paper leaves behind. You can make the trade of the season, switch from toilet paper, and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, hands down. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance, scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at Liberty Mutual.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Well, the broadcast partners of the NBA have had not the best first round in the history of broadcasting. Last night, a perfect example with C.J. McCollum at the free throw line with the Atlanta Hawks up 107-106. And Noah Eagle and Jamal Crawford are talking about how the Knicks have a timeout remaining, which they didn't. Now, that is not really on the announcers. Their job is to announce the game. They're given the information by the truck and by their statistician. So that is not really on them. They're the ones that sound bad because they're delivering the information. But that's not their job. But with that said, it is the job of the network to get the damn information correct. That is unacceptable, and it is a bad mistake, especially in this day and age of social media. All right, you cannot get that type of information wrong because, boom, Mikal Bridges comes down, and everyone's screaming, why didn't they call a timeout and advance the ball, set up a play, blah, blah, blah. And then you understand that the Knicks did not have a timeout. You got Prime Video that in overtime of a game loses their feed. But again, if you're NBC, all right, your job is to know how many timeouts a team has. The scoreboard had it correct. They had 0 next to the Knicks for TOL, which means timeouts left. All right, NBC got to do better. Can't drop the ball like that. And yes, we all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. And you acknowledge your mistakes. If you're NBC, you don't come out after the game and blame it on a data error. That's garbage, all right? Do better. That is a key mistake at a big time of the game, which set up a social media frenzy ripping the Knicks. And you should be ripping the Knicks about other things, but not that because it was a mistake. They had no timeouts remaining. Do better. Get the damn information correct. And that's my rant for today. Each and every Tuesday at this time, we talk with Sean Salisbury right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Sean, how are you?
Grant, I'm well, man. How about you?
I'm doing good. So you've been involved from different perspectives with the NFL draft, being in the draft, being around the draft, seeing rookies come in, first day of practice, covering it at ESPN. You've been over it. I'm just curious, why do you think there are so many mistakes made with even high-end draft picks? We've talked about it at the quarterback position, whether it's the Tim Couches of the world, the Jamarcus Russell, the Ryan Leaf. We can go on and on. Why do you think so many mistakes are made?
Well, Grant, the obvious answer and the elementary school answer would be, it's not an exact science and college is different than pro. I'm going to give you one step deeper. That the guys doing the evaluating, don't give them too much credit for being tremendous experts at evaluating talent. There's a three-tiered thing. I tell people this. Well, Sean, they're all no, they're not. Sometimes guys hire their buddies who've been in coaching. There's three tiers to this for me. There's evaluation experts. There are coaching, get on the board like a position coach who knows how to get on the board and draw X's and O's and could put up the illustration and walk you through how to go about attacking a defense or attacking an offense. And then there's one which would go along with this, Grant. How do we explain a guy can be a great quarterback coach? I'm just using that as an example. But when he gets promoted to offensive coordinator, is not any good at it. Because there's also that I've been with coordinators that are great teachers as a position coach. Then they get promoted, they just can't get into the rhythm of a game. It just doesn't flow with them. They can't be urgent without being hurried. And it's the same with scouting. I'm just telling you, and we don't do enough deep dive, Grant. I'm going to tell you, and I've been working with a company recently, and I'll leave it out because we're close to introducing it publicly, is about the assessment test. I know you've heard of it, but this is special. I was meeting with them last night, and it's weird that you asked me this because so people know you and I haven't talked about this, is the ability to figure, it's not usually the physical that eliminates or when a guy doesn't work out. Now, some is, well, maybe he's not committed to it. Does he love it? Or he's just not passionate about football. Some are intrinsic and extrinsic. I'm talking about the players where the extrinsic player just goes on money, people liking his game and awards. And if he's not getting those, he's not a good player. He's got to feast off that. That's extrinsic, where you look for all the hand clapping. Then there's the intrinsic type of player. And think about a wrestler. What kind of pub do they get? Grant, you remember walking out of your gym and you go in there and it's smelling the wrestling room and you're like, these dudes are out of their mind. What are they battling for? They're battling against themselves. They fight and compete against themselves. But when you're evaluating players, we don't get that part of the assessment sometimes unless somebody's doing a deeper dive. And unfortunately, a Wonderlic to wondering if a right angle is faced this way, what happens if you flip it on its side? That ain't giving you the answers you want to need under pressure. How they deal with, their heart rate, how they deal with when it's a minute 30 to go and you're up by 3 touchdowns or a minute 20 to go and you're down by 5. All those things that assess. And then now that you know the conflict, how do you find the answer? So working with a company to get data and stuff that doesn't lie so you can know that this guy's going to melt down under this situation if you don't train him out of that. So that's another thing down the road. But the reason they miss, Grant, is that a lot of these guys don't evaluate properly, or they evaluate and they got 15 different chefs making the decision, and they'll write up an evaluation, give it to the head coach who gives it to the GM, and then they're going over it, and this guy, signs the checks, he likes this guy. And before you know it, you're chasing after a guy who, he played great in college, but that doesn't mean much. So there's a lot of layers to it. And I think we give guys that draft people, some are great at it and some aren't. And I think we quite frankly over respect, not in a bad way, but over respect people who quite frankly are not experts at evaluating. They may be experts at X's and O's, but they're not experts at evaluating talent. And a lot of times in my career, the great eliminator, Grant, was not if the guy could play. I could take that. Now, 1,000 guys can run fast. 1,000 guys can throw a football. 1,000 guys can run a route. But can you do it under certain circumstances? And can you do it under pressure? It's the mental and emotional and the the sustained grind of everyday football that keeps that guys miss out on, that evaluators don't quite see. And that's the next level. Because any of us can sit back and watch a guy throw and say, hey, man, he's got a good arm. You know what I mean? So don't give those experts as much credit as we think we're supposed to give them, because some of them just flat out miss.
I'm so happy you said that. I want to point out two things to you. And we didn't talk, but earlier today I was talking about DeAndre Ayton, who's now with the Lakers. And he's got a world of talent. But you ask yourself, does the guy really love playing game? Does he really have a passion for this? Because there are too many times when we talk about DeAndre Ayton and we're like, he didn't come to play tonight. And when he does come to play, he can be dominant like he was in game 1 against Houston. And I've always wondered, Sean, you know, if I were a general manager or I was a coach, I would have to have one near the top of my list. Does the guy love what he does? Does he love playing? All right. And I question that about DeAndre Ayton. And then the second part of this, because I think it goes back to what you're saying. I had Scott Pollard, former NBA player, on my show, and we were talking about the NBA draft. And he's been a really good forecaster of players that he thinks will be good in the NBA and that. He's got a really good track record. And I was asking him about A.J. DeBonsa of BYU, who many people think is going to be the number 1 player in the draft. And he said, you know, there's one thing I'm concerned about him. He said, I went to a BYU game and I watched him warm up the whole game, and I didn't like what I see. All the other players are high-fiving each other. He's kind of by himself. He wasn't doing any of that. He wasn't patting guys on the back. And he goes, I look for everything when I'm getting ready to draft a player. And, you know, sometimes, Sean, we think, you know, in the box. You got to think outside the box sometimes. And I thought it was very interesting that he was talking about watching a guy 15 minutes before the game even started to look at how he was with his teammates.
Frank, you stole words right out of my mouth, brother. And again, it's as if we're finishing sentences. I'm telling you now, I'll go watch warm-ups that a guy puts in now. I was talking about this the other day, not in an interview with a friend, is I get a lot out of what kind of guy is he. And then sometimes body language is different, but I'm just talking about the interaction. And I'm with Scott 100%. I get a pretty good feel for a guy. Listen, I can watch a guy throw a football in 15 throws. And when I'm training quarterbacks, which I've been doing for 25 years, I can watch a guy, and it's not a pat on the back. I think I'm good at my evaluation. I can watch a guy throw a football and tell you in 15 throws where his mechanical flaws or where he's great throwing the football. And then you go through it and see the grind and footwork later. But I can do it. And Scott's right. Go watch a guy warm up. Go watch somebody in volleyball warm up and how they interact and what they're doing. I'm big on that, especially in team sports. And again, I always go back to intrinsic or extrinsic. It's important to me. What drives you? And every single quarterback I've ever, on the first part of your answer, every single quarterback I ever trained, I don't ask the dad. So I know what the dad or the mom want. I want to know if the kid loves to play. Because if the kid loves to play, we'll throw in the rain. He'll go an extra 15 minutes. He won't quit when things get bad and start pouting. He won't be trying to get through practice as opposed to grind through practice. And he'll always want to come back after a bad day, not just after the good one. He can't wait. And I do think it matters. And I was talking on my show today. My co-host was asking me about players. And I've said this for years. And I'll say it again and loud it, and I'm screaming to the high heavens. When you're drafting somebody, you better love him. If you like, let's say quarterback, if you liked Mendoza and you're the Raiders, you can't draft him because of social media pressure. You got to love him. And if you love him, it shouldn't matter what anybody else thinks. You may miss, you may not. But I need to know, does he love it? And I can tell during warm-ups if a guy loves what he's doing. Now, some guys may be locked in, but there's still interaction. Scott's right. And DeAndre Ayton, a perfect example. Monster skill set. He'll have a night where you're saying, this is a 2020 guy. The guy's off the charts. And then maybe they disappear for 3 games. Yeah. The hardest part is not being spectacular 3 times. The best players are great or really good 81 times. I'm not just talking about statistically, but they're still grinding on those. It's not the short bursts. Hell, all of us have had those short bursts. And some of us love it and get hurt or not, and not as good as Brady at it. But there's a million guys who were as skilled as Brady throwing the football, but skilled under pressure. Did they love it? Did they want to cut your heart out and feed it to you and play for free, although they're getting paid? Those guys, even though they do get paid, I do know guys that would have played professional football, and I was one of them, and not get paid. They would have just to go out there and friggin' compete. So But DeAndre Ayton's, and you wonder, and then there's a guy who's lesser talented, who's getting you 15 and 12 every single night. Why? Because he loves it and he's got a refusal to lose. And so there's a lot of layers to it. Scott's right. I learn a lot about a player during pregame and during when things are at their worst or when they're playing crappy. All of us can play good when things are going good, or you've knocked down 8 3-pointers in a row. So, and Ayton's got it in him. But the question is, are you extrinsic? Are you just playing to get out and get paid? Or are you playing because you friggin' love it and they got to drag you off the court regardless? And I think there's a major difference. And in this draft will be no different. Some guy's going to get drafted in the top 10, will be out of the league in 5 years. Some guy's going to be drafted 65th and he'll be in the Pro Bowl 8 times. It's going to happen.
Sean, I used to have a weekly radio show with Jim Moore, the former coach. And I know you know Jim. And we asked about
Jim
the process.
Senior or Jim Jr.? Which one?
Senior.
Older Jim or younger Jim?
Yeah.
Okay.
When he was the coach of the Colts. And after that, we had asked him we asked him to go back in time to talk about when they had the number 1 pick and why they took Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf. And he said, well, when we interviewed the player, both the exact same questions. And when we asked Peyton what would he do if we drafted him, he says, I'll be there the next morning. I want the playbook and let's go to work. They asked Ryan Leaf the same question. He said, I'm getting all my buddies and we're going to Hawaii to celebrate for a week. Right? And that one answer meant a lot to Moore and the Colts organization. So this is all in line of what we're saying here.
And you know what's crazy about it? Judging from his career, there's a lot of guys that were more physically gifted than Peyton. He'll admit it. But you add that to all the other intangibles, the stuff you can't see. And you know what's crazy? Neither one of them were joking about what they said. And I've known Ryan and Peyton a long time, both of them. And Ryan Leaf been through his struggles, but think about how the careers turned out. And Peyton Manning, it wasn't just saying it because he thought that that's what, Polian or somebody else wanted to hear, what Jim Mora wanted to hear. You know why he said it? Because that's who he is. And that's what his career was all about. And you don't end practice bad, just like in you and I in our driveway shooting jumpers. Name me a time when you were counting down 5, 4, and you were Jerry West and you missed the shot. If you missed it, guess what you did? The guy fouled you and you went and made 2 free throws so you could leave your driveway, right?
Sure.
Other guys just, I missed it, I'll get it tomorrow. Doesn't Peyton Manning feel like he threw the touchdown pass, throwing it to himself in a diving catch on his parents' bed? I did that all the time. I made the diving catch for the winner shot, and you would never leave. Right. Some guys would leave because it's getting dark. Peyton Manning ain't leaving until that touchdown pass, that jump shot's made. And I do think there's a difference, and I don't think it's by chance, Grant. I just don't. And I think there's a lot to it.
Sean, I will update you. The Yankees have just scored 2 more, and they lead the Red Sox 3-0 in the 6th. I just wanted you to know that, okay?
Hey, I just wanted to let you know, man, I really appreciate you having me on all over these years, and I wish you luck in your future. Don't ever call me again.
I love you. Sean Salisbury joining us each and every week right here on the Grant Napear Show. This draft is interesting in this aspect. Well, all drafts can be interesting. I find them as they go on to be kind of boring, but there's such a difference of opinion in terms of where Jeremiah Love's going to go, and yet a lot of people that are analyzing the draft say he is the top prospect. Will Arizona take him at 3, or will they go defense? And then what about Tennessee? I think we talked about this a week ago, but if you love him, right? I mean, and we talk about John Harbaugh with the 5th pick and now the 10th pick, but I mean, Jeremiah Love, how do you look at him as if you're a general manager of a team that could use a really good running back?
Oh, Grant, it goes back to the love-like thing. I think, normally it's hard to pick a running back when I say safe pick, I'm not talking about safe that he's just an average player. I mean a guy that 8 years from now, we're still going to be talking about him in a good way. I think Jeremiah loves that. I do. I think he's that guy. I'm never going to have to worry about him. How he's committed he is.
Is he Saquon Barkley?
I think he is, and he may be Saquon Barkley with a little more. I mean, Barkley's got burst, but Love's one of those guys that can pound you. And we know how big Barkley's legs are. We get all that. But he's got thump, and he can beat you inside and outside, and he's got wiggle, and he can beat you on the long run, but also take a pound. He's 25 touch a game guy. So comparing the two may be a little different, but both impactful. And Grant, here's where I sit on this. I usually am have trouble drafting a running back in the top 10 picks. And a lot of times even in the first round, because there's enough metrics that say you can have two good, Chicago's doing it. I mean, you can have two good backs that can get you the yards and dominate and not be a top 10 pick. We've seen it with Mike Shanahan's team, with Kyle Shanahan, although now with McCaffrey.
Yep.
And don't tell a quarterback that we should be devaluing running backs, because they know how important they are. But I can tell you this, that I think he's a guy that if you pick him, you can rest assured he's going to, the second he goes up and takes the hat from Roger Goodell or the jersey and puts the hat on, that he's going to be your starting running back if he doesn't get hurt for the next 7-8 years. I believe that. And I think his second contract will be monster. I think he's that good. Now, I'm not giving up another first-round pick to go from 10 to 3. I'm not doing that for a running back. I just wouldn't do it. But if you're Arizona or Tennessee or the Giants and you think that this guy's giving you that game for the next 8 years, you don't trade it. You draft him. Regardless, wow, why are you taking a running back? Why? Because I think he's a safe, great player. And even though linemen and edge rushers are, especially, this is a edge rusher and some pretty decent receiver class. It's not a great quarterback class. I don't think it's a great class overall. Sure as hell not a great, like I said, QB class. And there's not, after the first 8 to 10 picks, 12 picks, you're like, okay, is it this lineman from Utah or is it Miami's lineman or is it Arbel Reese? So I think that if you want a winner and you want a guy that you know is going to be a great player, you do it. But some people say, well, great there or great edge rusher, who will impact it more? And maybe I'll draft a running back in the second or third round. I think that if he's the best on my board and I'm picking fourth and I got him there, draft him. But if I'm at 12 and you're going to make me give up another first-round pick to move into the top 3 or 4, it's hard for me to commit to that running back. So I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, you know what I mean? But if I'm Arizona and I love him at 3, I'm drafting him. Yep. If I'm Tennessee for the young quarter, I'm drafting him because I don't think there's a lot of risk with him, Grant. I just don't. I don't think. And then you say, well, is the guy in the second round, can he be as productive 3 years from now? Maybe. But I just think this guy's unique. He's comes from a great program. He's been well coached. And he's a flat-out football playing Jesse. So I don't have a problem taking him. And it goes against what I believe. But if I'm going to go against what I believe about top 10 running back picks, he better be just a flat-out dude. And I think Jeremiah Love's at his position, as dominant as his position as any other player is at theirs, if that makes sense. And so I think he's a safe pick, and I think he's one that you don't have to worry about for about 7, 8, 9 years.
Final question, and I don't like to get into soap operas and everything, but it's been a story, and we've had to talk about it with Diana Rossini resigning from The Athletic, and both Mike Vrabel and her statements 2 weeks ago when Page Six broke this story, which sound fishy to me based on the pictures. Well, Mike Vrabel today had his first public comments since then, other than his statement of denial 2 weeks ago. I'm sure you heard that. If not, we can play it for you. But
I heard it. I got it.
Okay. Yep. I mean, listen, I understand it's a difficult situation. I understand it's embarrassing. I get all of that. But he starts off by saying, well, first of all, I've had to have difficult conversations with my family. And yet 2 weeks ago, he was talking about this is a nothing story. It's ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Do you have a problem with the way he handled that today?
Yeah, but I'm not surprised. What Mike's going to have to understand now, and there's a little hypocrisy here by the way he talked about his player, and Travion Henderson has been well documented. And then you go do it. Listen, he's held to a different standard than others are because he's the head coach. But it is the Patriot way not to let anybody talk to the players first.
Yeah, true.
He basically, without telling us anything, he kind of told us something, didn't he, Grant? So
sure, of course he did.
Like, okay, he basically, by saying I had difficult conversations with my family and players, that's basically, in my mind, where I come from, saying I screwed up. Even if it wasn't true, even if they were just buddies, the screw up, even if it was just this, is the optics alone was a screw up. Wrong place, wrong time. It just doesn't look good for the football program, for your family. And we don't ever take into account the embarrassment you cause your spouse, right?
Oh boy, I just talked about that before you came on. Yeah. You know, you and I think alike. I had spent 10 minutes just talking about that before you came on. Yeah.
And I'm not a self-righteous. Listen, I'm not marriage counselor to any of these people. I'm just talking about from our vantage point.
Yeah.
That at all. I'm not telling anybody who cheats and who does. That's their own
we're not perfect.
But they made it public. They made it public though, Grant, by doing what they did. So we got to talk about it. And Mike, here's the problem, though. Without addressing it, guess what happens in week 2? If they're people are still going to ask. That's what a journalist does. Good on the New York Post that they weren't the one that tried to brush it under the carpet, that they followed the story. So I found today it felt like you're guilty without telling us you are. You're trying to squelch it like the Patriot way has always been. The head coach speaks first. And now you've got to approach your players humbly. He didn't come out there with his chest puffed and his shoulders back saying, you guys are wrong. I'll fight this. This is this disrespectful. You did it. That we're just friends. It sounded to me like humble. You're going to get a better version of Mike going forward. I got the answers I needed, Grant, from my point of view. Not that he needs to apologize to me, but it's not going to go away because Bulldog journalists are going to follow it. Sometimes it's just better to say with your crisis management team, listen, we screwed up, made a mistake. I'm taking care of the private stuff that's nobody's business at home because I'm dealing with that. Now I got to make sure my football team trusts me. I got to re-earn their trust because I wasn't who I told them to be. And then move on. That's my opinion because I got news for you. Remember, Grant, you've lied before. I have. I think whether you're 12 years old, 20 years old, or 60 years, we've all told a lie. And guess what? You know what's harder? Following the lie around and trying to remember what lie you told to this person so you can cover up the next lie so it doesn't come back to you. The truth of the matter is, we love a comeback. We love to lift people up and we love to see them get torn down and then boom, to make the comeback. Mike now is on the comeback phase of getting out of his hypocrisy and re-earning the trust of his team. It's going to be easier on him in the public, not at home maybe, but in the public because he's a football coach. Oh, he's a football coach. Big deal. You know, it's like rock stars. It's almost like we encourage it. She is going to have a harder time. And it's unfair. Whether it's unfair or not, you make the bed, no pun intended, you got to sleep in it. And whether they did or not, overcoming the perception of credibility is going to be her hardest part. And she's done some great stuff. Yep. But every time she does something now, she's going to have to try to explain. The best thing to do, once you've apologized or made your peace, you don't know anybody else another explanation. Get moving forward. You and I have been through stuff before. You keep moving forward and do your thing and stand tall and do it. But in their profession, the perception is reality, unfortunately. But it's always more difficult and unfairly so on women, and women journalists are going to have to overcome a bigger hill to climb than Mike because, it's just a football coach doing football coach things, which is not right, but it is. So let the marriage counselors and all the judges go. But I think I got my answer, what went on. Mike's in salvage at home, salvage with his football team mode, and now he's got to get back into coaching his football team so he can win their respect back because it's the respect part. It's nothing else right now. Nobody cares if you like him or not. It's all about respect and trust with your own program.
Amen. Have a great night, buddy. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
You too, my man. Thank you.
Sean Salisbury, great segment each and every week right here. Don't forget, coming up at 7 o'clock tonight, I'll be over on YouTube and X with my Open Forum Tuesday show. We'll come right back. Your reaction to anything Sean said and the big events, NBA, NHL, baseball, whatever else you want to talk about. 916-779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
A personal question. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry, single-ply toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? Well, it's not. It's a whole lot better thanks to the wet, extra-large cleaning power of Dude Wipes. They comfortably clean up whatever toilet paper leaves behind. You can make the trade of the season, switch from toilet paper, and start experiencing the confident clean of Dude Wipes. Available at Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Get them at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue.
At the Y, strength means something different. It means people of all ages being together. It means you can be swishing the game-winning shot, learning to plie in first position, jabbing, crossing, and hooking a punching bag, canoeing in the lake at summer camp, donating food for your neighbors, watching your son learn about water safety in the pool. 175 years later, there's still no place like this place. Get involved at your Y. Learn more at ymca.org.
Good stuff from Sean Salisbury. Boy, how about Philadelphia leading Boston in Boston at the half, 62-54. And Portland is off to a very good start. They lead San Antonio with 3:38 left to go in the first, 25-15. A little bit later, the Rockets and the Lakers. Good start for the Blazers. My man Rhino has picked them to even up this series at 1-1. Long way to go, but so far, a good start. This is exactly what you need for Portland going on the road and defensively and making their shots and everything else. It's a great start for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, they got to keep making their shots. Just because Wemby's the biggest guy on the court doesn't mean that you can't get to the rim. And Klingen's been cleaning stuff up. I think it's a tremendous test, Grant, for the Spurs before they would possibly get the Nuggets, because Portland can play pretty physical at times, one of the biggest teams in the NBA. So good stuff. We'll see if they can keep it up. I am more skeptical about the Sixers keeping that lead in Boston.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. And as we've just been talking, San Antonio has just gone on a 5-0 run to cut that to 25-20. I'm with you. I would be very surprised if Boston does not come back and win this game. I really would. Well, you know what's going to be the most watched game of the first round of the playoffs so far will be the next Knicks-Atlanta game. All eyes will be on that game.
Because of New York, right?
Yeah, well, and the fact that, yes, because it's New York, absolutely. And I think because of their owner and firing Tom Thibodeau last year and everything else that goes with it. And I'll tell you this, the Atlanta Hawks are a fun team to watch. I got to tell you, I enjoy watching the Hawks play.
Yeah, what do they say? Addition by subtraction.
Yes.
Sometimes a player, he might be the best player on the team, but it doesn't mean he's the best player for the team. And that was the case with Trae Young.
That is so true. That is so true. Hit me up at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. The hockey playoffs going on. We've got the NFL draft coming up on Thursday that I just talked to Sean Salisbury about. We have just like too much going on, Rhino. I mean, too much. You got Montreal, Tampa, 1-1, 14 minutes left to go in the second. Boston and Buffalo getting ready to start. Utah and Vegas a little bit later. the LA Kings in Colorado. You still have not had time to sample a hockey game yet, right? But you will do that this week, correct?
I watched last night, Carolina.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had that. I had the iPad going with that, and then the NBA on the background. So
okay,
got some of that. That was a lot of fun. Going to spend some more time this weekend and watch the playoffs. It's funny. We talk about the best times of year for sports. Is this kind of one of them that we don't mention?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. I think, first of all, a lot of people love the start of the baseball season. So for the baseball purists, they really enjoy opening day and, the infancy of the season. So I think that's special. You just got done with the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament, and that gets you right into the NBA and NHL playoffs. And, oh, yeah, by the way, 2 weeks ago, we had our first major in golf with the Masters. So, yeah, I think April is a phenomenal month for the sports fans. I think there is so much on the calendar. And honestly, it really begins with two events. It begins with opening day of Major League Baseball, which for most people is the true beginning of spring and summer, and then right into the Masters from the NCAA tournament, which ends on a Monday, and the Masters begins on a Thursday, and then the following week, you've got the NBA and the NHL playoffs. So, yes, I am with you absolutely 100% on that. All right, 916-779-0929, and we get to Robert in Modesto. Hi, Robert.
Hey, Grant. How are you today?
I'm good, Robert. Thanks for calling. What can I do for you?
Well, I just want to say, man, I'm really enjoying the NBA playoffs this year. I'm a Warriors fan, so the Dubs had that one brief run, but I was really intrigued by the Cavs the other night. They looked so good playing team ball, and just, man, a lot of those young players, they just know how to get up and down the court.
Well, you know what? The team last year had a big disappointment going out early in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell is so good, and he was really good again last night. The key for the Cavaliers will be as they move on, if they do move on, what will happen with James Harden in the biggest of games. That has been his nemesis, so we'll see. But, yeah, they do look good. I would agree with you there.
Yeah, I thought he was like deferring to the other players. I thought he actually had a really good game with his assists. Some of those ways he set up people for the power jams. Oh, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, he played very well. I agree with you. I thought he looked very solid, and it wasn't just the James Harden show. He was very much playing team basketball. I agree with you on that.
All right. Well, hey, Grant, it's great to listen to you. Great to talk to you. Love having you back on. So you have a great day and enjoy the playoffs yourself.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate your phone call and appreciate your support. Take care now. Great stuff from Robert in Modesto. If you want to also get in on the show, 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929 as we update you on all of the scores. That score now is 27-24 Portland. And the third quarter is underway in Boston. 2 minutes gone by, and it is 67-56. We talk so much about the big series early on in the middle or the third week of April with the Giants and the Dodgers tonight. Yamamoto going against Rupp. This is a really important series because of the Giants in an early hole, 7 games back and 6 games back already of the Padres and 4 games back of the Diamondbacks. You know, you better make sure you win at least one game and hang around and not get buried early. And if you get swept in these 3 games, you're buried early. And I don't know if you can come out of that hole, even though it is the third week of April and you have the bulk of your schedule ahead of you. I just don't see the Giants being that team with the makeup of their roster to be able to do that. So this, to me, is an early critical series. I mean, you got to win at least one, but I think you really got to win 2 here. Start feeling good about yourself. You know, get a little momentum going. You have not been good at home. Get a little mojo going. And this would be the way to do it. Yeah, you know, the park's going to be jumping. There's going to be a lot of Dodger fans in there. There's a lot of Giants fans. I mean, you know, it's the Giants and the Dodgers. We get that. It's going to be a fun series, but the Giants better make it into W's. They really do. Meanwhile, the A's are in Seattle. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this would be the series that the Giants just go ahead and sweep, right?
They've done it before, but I don't think they're playing well enough to do it now,
But that's the thing about
I know.
baseball. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Watch them turn it around and win all of them.
Yeah, I that would shock me. I don't see the Dodgers. They had just lost 2 in a row before they beat Colorado yesterday. I don't see the Dodgers going on 3-game losing streaks. I just think they're too good.
Good point.
I just don't see it. They're not going to have 3-game losing streaks very often.
Wouldn't that be something if they went through the entire season without a 4-game losing streak before the playoffs?
Really would.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah, really would. Absolutely. All right, hey, we'll wrap up the show when we come back right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubrud's.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. Gubrud's. Gabrud's.com.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
So, I was talking with Sean Salisbury, and we're talking about players that love to play the game, right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is there's a lot of controversy or a lot of debate, maybe not controversy, a debate, which I guess you could say, based on where I'm going, maybe you'll call it controversial, as it relates to Darren Peterson, who a lot of people feel is the best talent in the draft. But there is this question, this debate about whether he truly loves playing the game because of what happened this year at Kansas. And the question is, does this guy try to do everything that he can to play? Like, he's at Kansas. He's at one of the most prominent, storied basketball schools of all time in America. And he's asking to come out of games and he doesn't want to play. Or is that based on pressure from representation? Is it something else? Or does the individual lack the real passion to go out and play regardless of the circumstance? And so those are the things that we're talking about when we dissect a player, because when you make a decision of this magnitude, you have to have everything checked. All right. You have to look at every single aspect of an individual. And I think that's what's going on with Darren Peterson. And the question is, does he love playing a game? Because I don't know about you, but if I'm making a pick in this year's draft, I am not taking anyone that does not absolutely love playing the game and it is their passion. And I want guys that hate to lose. All right. Those are all things that I'm looking for. So I don't know the answer to that with Darren Peterson, but I better find out. All right. And I'm going to find out. And if there's any issues, that individual is not coming to my franchise. All right. NBA. That 10-point lead that Portland had was gone at the end of the first quarter. They're now trailing 32-31. Meanwhile, Philadelphia is still hanging on. They lead Boston by 7 halfway through the third quarter. All right, Giants tonight at home. Dodgers, A's on the road against the M's, who are off to a very slow start. And then Thursday is the NFL draft. You probably, Ryan, don't even care about the NFL draft because the team that you root for, they won the championship, and so you're not even into it because you're like, we don't need anybody. We don't even care. I'll be sleeping by the time we make the pick in the first round.
You know what? I never worry about the draft for the Seahawks because John Schneider is just so good at the late rounds. He finds
really is.
Such value in, we've talked about this before.
He's Sam Presti.
To a degree, he is. He knows when to get off players. He just has a knack. He got off Russ. He's gotten off of other players, receivers, Lockett. Now you got it's just, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's insane how good he is at that. So
yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. So they are the defending champs, and they will be opening up the season on Wednesday this year. I can't wait for the NFL schedule to come out. I love it when that happens.
If they open up against the Giants, we might be headed to Seattle.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I actually, the Giants have to play in Seattle this year. That's the game I hope they get because it's going to not interfere with any travel for the rest of the season. You get out there, and then you have an extra 3 days to get ready for the following week. So if I got to do it, that's when I would want to do it.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, the NFL. Melbourne, Australia.
I know. Go figure,
next?
Right? Did you ever think that there would be a regular season game in the NFL in Melbourne, Australia?
No, I did not.
What a brutal flight that's going to be on the way home for the guys that play in that game when they're banged up and everything else, and you got to go on a plane for 16 hours back to either L.A. or San Francisco. Oh my goodness.
Just
That
imagine,
is not going to be fun.
I mean, imagine if you suffer an injury, right?
Yes.
Having to take that flight injured. What if you get a concussion and they say you can't fly? It's just a nightmare all the way around. I mean, I hope those things don't happen,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's going to happen, and it's going to be the future. It's not going to be like a one-time deal. Look at what's going on in Brazil, Mexico City, Europe. Look at all the games that are played in Europe now.
I know.
It's almost every week. You got to turn the TV on at 6:30 in the morning to get the first game.
That's
It's
right.
ridiculous. Right? It happens all the time,
I
does
mean,
it not?
it's not bad if you live on the East Coast. If you're Patrick,
No, it's
you
great
got
if you live
football
on the
at
East Coast.
9:30. Let's go.
Absolutely.
9:30 until you can stay awake. You've got
Yes.
football on.
Yes. But here, 6:30 in the morning, you're getting up on Sunday to watch that game over in London or Ireland or
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah. Do you get up for that game? I don't.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I do. I try to watch every single NFL game to some degree. Now, in all fairness, have there been times when I haven't because it's two teams that are down in the standings and I know they aren't very good? Yes. But I'll get up at least for the second half.
Yeah, I'll do that for sure.
I go into the casita. I've got 3 TVs on the wall, like and I'll watch every game.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so funny that it's multiple TVs now or
Have
multiple devices. Yeah.
Have to.
I will have a TV, 2 laptops, an iPad, and a phone going on most weekends.
See?
So
Absolutely.
yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're starting to get to the point where I miss football, where I will take the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, me too. Get me into the NFL season, would you please?
Yeah. We take it for granted. Is there anything that goes quicker than the NFL season? It's like
No.
you blink and
I know.
all of a sudden you're 2 weeks from the playoffs.
Hey, I blinked and I woke up and I was in my mid-60s. So, like, yeah, things go fast.
It does indeed.
By the way, since we've been asked, I'm tired of talking about the passport. When do you think that you might be able to fit in Shawshank Redemption? What's that on the calendar? This month or probably not until May?
No, I could get Shawshank in before we take off at the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be off next Thursday and Friday. Just for those of you that are making plans, we'll be off next Thursday and Friday. And then we'll come back to start the month of May strong. And then we'll have that individual call, and he can help us out with the Kentucky Derby, where I couldn't name one horse at all, even on the Friday before the Derby. I got to tell you, it's the biggest event annually that nobody knows anything about.
I mean, yes and no. I would say it depends where you are in the country, right?
I would say that that's probably the biggest event annually in this country with the fewest number of people being able to name anything about it. I really believe that. I believe if you took a poll of 50 people in a room the night before the Derby and asked them to name one horse, you might have 50 people not being able to name one horse in the Derby.
But the one person that might be able to will know everything about
Well, that's
the
good
Derby.
because they can educate everyone on it.
Yeah.
That's good. Just like that individual that called the show, right?
Right.
And was talking horse. I said, hey, you got to call me Derby week. He goes, I will. I go, you got to help us out here.
Yeah, he already put his warm-up call in. He said,
Is that is that going to be something that's on Prize Picks too, or you're not sure?
Good question. I'm not sure if it will be or not. I don't know how it would be on Prize Picks because more than, less than.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Will it be more likely or less likely that the horse that Grant Napear bets on gets stuck in the gate and never runs the race?
Those poor horses going into the gates.
I'm losing before the race even starts. My horse gets stuck in the post position, and I'm like, I lost. Don't even get a chance to watch the darn thing.
Oh, my goodness. I love how they come up with horse names and the stories behind those.
If I had a horse, my horse's name would be Mick the Quick. And down the stretch they come. Here comes Mick the Quick.
Mick the Quick.
Mick the Quick, named after Mickey Rivers. Number 17, Mickey Rivers.
I like it.
Mick the Quick.
Did you see, what was the horse? It's My Wife Is Always Right or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's got the weirdest names. You know, when you hear some of these track announcers name these horses and you're just like, whoa, what? You know?
What
But
was
Mick the Quick's a good name, though, don't you think, for a horse?
I like Mick the Quick.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in, let's see. Yeah, My Wife Is Always Right, or My Wife Is
gosh.
Right. So it was in 2010. It was a legendary call. My wife is right. My wife is right. It was just great.
Back in the pandemic, I had on the radio one of the leading track announcers for all the major races. I can't remember his name. I apologize. He was phenomenal, and we played some of his race calls. It was like, wow. I mean, it was freaking great. I think that job has got to be so hard. You know, as somebody that does announce live events, I would think announcing horse racing has got to be brutally difficult. I really do.
You've got to know a lot about the track. You've got to know a lot about the horses, and
You
a lot
got to
about
make sure
racing
you
in
identify the
general.
horses adequately, and I mean, think about the changing of the horses, and you have to know. It's like hockey players coming on and off the ice, but you have sometimes the colors of the, I don't even know what it's called, you know, where the saddle is, are similar. Like, so you got to make sure that you don't get it mixed up. I mean, that's not the easiest thing in the world.
No, it's not. You probably could have thrown one of your frat brothers into a horse race.
Yeah, but probably not during the Derby. I don't think that would work very well
not
for the
the
millions
Derby.
of people that are watching, you know? I can't put Ruggles and Nucci in the Derby coming down the home stretch because I don't know who that particular horse is when it's Secretariat, okay? I don't think I
Man.
could do that, all right?
Ruggles and Nucci, it just sounds like a great law firm. I would go straight there.
Let me tell you something. Based on the amount of classes that they missed, that would definitely not be a law firm that I would go to, okay?
Ruggles and
they would be
Nucci.
they are the ones that need lawyers. They're not the ones that would be the lawyers, okay? I can just promise you that right now.
Oh,
okay?
my goodness.
Right. Yes. They led the fraternity in classes missed. All right. So like, you know, we took a poll. We kept track. They were at the very bottom of the list for classes attended.
So in some ways, they were at the head of the class.
Yeah.
The head
They
of
were
the
at the head of the class for
classes
being
missed.
at the bottom of the class.
Yes.
That's exactly right. You got to be at the head of the class in some category. They were at the head of the class for being at the bottom of the class.
I need to meet Ruggles and Nucci.
Oh my gosh!
Gotta have
I just got a picture of them sent to me of Nucci, and I was just like, wow. I just got a picture sent of me. They were he was out with on a visit. They hadn't seen each other in like 40 years, and they sent a picture.
It's so funny that you have a friend named Nucci, and one of my really good friends was nickname's Nooch, and it's like it's so.
Well, his real
unique.
name is Jim Iannucci, but we called him Nucci for short.
Okay.
Iannucci. Yeah.
Love it.
Good hockey player. Well, he's managed to skate to the faceoff circle and then got called off the ice. But you know, at least he can say he played college hockey.
That's
right?
right.
There are not a lot of people that can say they played Division I college hockey on a national apparel. He can say it. He's got proof of it.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got the call.
Right. Exactly. Yes. And he was paired with Ruggles on the blue line, which, you know, that you can't say that one of your best friends you played Division I hockey with, and you were actually on the ice for a big game against Ohio State.
I just don't know how you didn't laugh while you were doing that.
Oh my gosh. Don't get me started. All right. Tomorrow, don't forget, Olden Polonies at 4:00. Portland leads San Antonio 40-38. Philly leads Boston 82-74. Great show today. I had a lot of fun. My thanks to Sean Salisbury. Don't forget, 7:00, YouTube and X, Open Forum Tuesday. For Rhino and Sacktown, this is Grant Napear saying so long and thanks very much for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.
If you've been waiting to buy a home, then you must be prepared to act soon for what's about to happen in the real estate market. The expected Fed rate cuts will renew the housing market demand. Buyers, like you, will flood the market. Bidding wars will happen, homes will sell quickly. You need to get your ducks in a row, and the best way to start is with an experienced broker to represent you. Village Financial